Here.
Thank you.
All right, the first one on the
You need to
agenda.
approve the agenda.
Oh, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Motion passes. Okay. The first one on the agenda is buildings and grounds. I don't see Chip. Oh, I'm not used to seeing you there. I'm used to seeing you out there. Why don't you go ahead and start with expenditures?
So what, you wanna start with the first salary line?
Yeah, let's go ahead and start.
Are you asking for anything, Chip?
No.
No, so zero. Okay.
Is that all you want me to do, hit the lines that I'm asking for something?
Why don't you start at that custodial
Yeah.
supplies if you're going zero on raises?
Yeah.
It's right
So
above fuels.
Yeah,
Yep, I think
custodial
we're- I
supplies,
think we're fine there.
okay.
Fuels, I think we're fine.
You're gonna leave them at 20?
Yep,
Okay.
at 2. Office supplies, I think we're fine.
22 or 20?
20 was
20.
custodial.
Yeah,
20, we can stay at 20.
All right.
yeah, and fuels, you wanna stay at 2?
Yep.
2,000.
Office supplies, I think we're fine.
2,000.
Yep.
What do you use for office supplies? Just
Paper.
curious. Oh, you buy the paper, that's right. Thanks.
Telephone, I think we're fine. Now here on the gas, it's showing such expenditure, but that's because we've had 2 mild winters. We bumped that up 3 years ago with the anticipation of running both boilers at the same time for the heating ramp. So.
And we haven't had to use it yet.
We haven't had to use it. I mean, we're gonna be over in this year, so, I mean, if you guys wanna try to pull some from there, we can, or if you wanna stay there.
You wanna go 50? Leave it?
What do you think a reasonable number would be?
It's hard to predict because we
Yeah.
haven't,
We haven't had
since our
hardly
heated
any.
ramp, we haven't really used it yet, so we have no precedent on what it's gonna cost.
So we probably don't want to reduce it much, right, in case you need to.
How about if we leave it at 50 and just dump it back? We can just take it back.
Okay.
Or we can just still go down 40.
Or 45, split it, you know?
You know better. Is it going up or down?
Gas is going up, but, I mean, if it goes up the way they're talking, I mean, we'll most
That-
likely exceed that 50. So, I
Okay,
mean,
we'll just
whatever.
leave
So let's leave it then, to be safe and.
Okay, also for the annex, what do you
Same
think?
again with the annex, you know, the 2 mild winters.
Okay.
As you can see by last year, we didn't hit the mark either, so if you guys are wanting to maybe take 1,000 from there and bring it back down, we can
That's-
do that.
You wanna go to 6?
We can go to 6.
Okay.
Here again, public health,
That's your $1,500 one?
yeah. I mean,
And that's kind of within the
right
range.
now, where the line we're on, I mean, last year was 589, I'd say this year, the most we're probably gonna hit would be, we have 2 more bad months, would probably be 7.
So we
If you
keep it
guys-
maybe at, maybe just do 1,000 instead of 1,500.
You wanna go
Yeah, we can do that,
1,000?
to get 500 off. Here again, Power and Light Courthouse. Since I did 2/3 of the building and the LED bulbs, I mean, I can show you that we're doing about $100 to $130 a month electrical savings on getting those bulbs. So if I get the rest of those bulbs done, we'll be looking closer at maybe around $160, $170 a month savings. I
Okay.
don't know if we'll be doing that, but we did take it down, so.
You're down to 20, can you go down to 19 or lower? Or do you want to stay? Not,
We'll go down, we can take it down to 18.
18?
We have that mini split project, right, potentially, and that's gonna pull some more power, maybe offset some of your savings, right?
Well, the mini split should really, the mini split should be a savings compared to the window units.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna be replacing those, right,
So,
so those should cut that. Just trying to think, is there gonna be any increases that are gonna offset any savings from those LED lights?
it's a good suggestion without running them for years.
Without knowing where we're gonna land with those and what that's gonna shake out to be.
And-
And would those offset any of the LP, any of the gas?
Yes,
So,
so we don't know that either.
We don't know that either.
Like I
But
said
if you
before.
leave it at 18, you're covered until you get those things accomplished. Because you don't have many splits yet.
No,
Right.
do we have a time frame for that? I know that's gonna be in our
that's
discussion.
what I was gonna discuss. I was gonna present you tomorrow, but everything's in-house as of Friday, so if you guys approve it tomorrow to get started with it, we'll get started with it.
Okay.
Oh, everything's in stock.
They just need to have it all Friday afternoon, everything's in-house.
Okay.
That's when they have to make a container to keep everything, so I don't have a room in the basement to keep stuff, but
Mhm.
they put a container out on the ramp on that east end of the building. So if you guys want any approval today, I'll put it in today. That's what I'm-
Well, we can, it's not on the agenda.
Yeah.
It's not on the agenda.
But as far as how it could potentially impact these numbers, would you be more comfortable trying to stay where you are, since we don't know how so many things are gonna shake out?
Maybe we'll stay where we are, and then next year at this time, we could subtract from there.
Yeah, that makes sense to
I'm
me.
envisioning an offset on the gas savings too.
Yeah, but it'd be nice to see that, and then we could
Right.
kind of project what that would be,
Right.
right? So, okay.
Okay. And then the annex,
Annex, I'd
looks
like
like
to
you're
s-
kind of where you're,
I'd
need
like
to
to
be-
stay there,
yeah.
yeah.
So you're gonna stay at 10.
Yeah.
Public health,
Public health, we're kind of about where we need to be. I think it's cutting me off
okay.
really at this point.
Mhm.
Next one, what's going on at the old ambulance garage. I mean, we tried to save last year, but we're already over this year. So with how we ended up last year at 1570, I'd like to increase that to 1600.
This is the meal site,
Yes.
16.
Yeah, because you're already at fully funded and we're only halfway through the year.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you maybe keep that warmer? for-
I think they are the back there.
I think they
a little
do.
bit.
Okay.
Just where we got one heater, we're sitting minus a heater back there. And I'm gonna keep it tolerable, because that's where they do their laundry and stuff for the meal side.
Okay. You down to water and sewer?
We haven't used so much this year, and I think a big usage last year was when we had the pipes break and leak for so long. So really with where we are right now, I think we could cut back 1,000 there,
Put it on the floor.
right down to 4.
Okay.
The annex, we're kinda,
Kind of where we, I don't know.
I think we're a little ahead than where we were last year, but
Do you think 1,200 is still a good number?
See, this is through Winterset. What if you go, do you think you need to go 14 on that, Chip?
you know, since we are 6 months in, it might not hurt to at least bump it to 13.
Okay.
13 or 14.
Which one do you want, you know?
Well, I like to go high, just to, it saves Terry from having to amend on my item.
14. Okay.
Public health, we're kind of a little under. We didn't quite hit 700 last year.
So
With
maybe,
less usage, I'd say we could take that down to 1,000.
okay.
I feel comfortable there.
Your garbage pickup is contracted through Winterset or through us?
Waste management.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with Steven and see if this is the year to try to get us out of that contract, so it doesn't renew. I'd rather go through White Prep. This is one of those that we're starting to get hit with a higher fuel surcharge.
So because you're over halfway through already, do you think you should bump that up to
Maybe
2,500?
22.
Huh? 2,500 or
he said 22, which one?
22?
How about 23?
Let's do 23.
Okay, split the middle, all right.
So when can you open that contract up so you can go to see if Uyghur can bid that out?
Steven had to look it over and everything before September of this year.
Okay, so see if Uyghur, okay.
To start the 90-day process, it's all it'd be something for Stephen when he has the opportunity to look at it, it's a lot of legal charge.
So is it just auto renew then unless you cancel it?
And you gotta
Okay.
start 90 days before, and to get it out of
Yeah.
auto renew.
How long are those they're just,
3
what
years.
just, yeah.
Does auto renew annually after the initial term of 3 years, or does it auto renew for 3 years?
It auto renews for 3 years.
Okay, so you have it on your
So
calendar
we're
to,
through every year right now.
okay, so you have it on your calendar to call and say, we do not want auto, we do not want to renew.
I got it to the contract to hand to Steve and let him look over what needs to be done, because Matt upset them 4 years ago on trying to bully them to do what they wanted.
Remove the auto renew, because I know Matt didn't like those.
He didn't, but Waste Management is a kind of a giant entity where
They
you
are.
gotta go through the process where the county to try to tell them what to do.
And they are going to do it.
That's why they auto renew this.
Okay, okay, well, you're on top of that, I'd like to see if we can save some money.
Here we are a little above, so I'd like to take the annex up to,
1,400?
yeah,
Okay.
public health, I think we took that up to 1,100. Motor vehicle repair, I think we're fine there.
Wait, 3,000 or 4?
4. Now here,
Quite a lot of miscellaneous in that bucket, huh?
yeah, it's, this would be something, if we left it at the 75, which I spoke to you guys about, that I'd like to electrify that air handler up in the dome, that I have a bid for $23,000 for it now.
But I think that's a necessity.
Yes.
Yes.
And that would fall in this bucket for general?
This is a line item I could pay for that out of, yes.
So 75.
Yes, I'd like to stick to 75.
Makes sense.
Ambulance garage,
Now, this is the
meal site.
meal site, right?
No,
No, this is the,
this is
The
the
new
new
site.
ambulance garage, this is for lawn and snow removal. I bumped it up to the 30 last year because that snowstorm that hit us last year was a $36,000 snowstorm
okay.
between all the buildings, but I mean, that, and the ambulance is where I had them stay continuously around the clock for like 2 days, I think. So-
Chip, are we getting to the point, Sarah Pugh and I looked into this, into maybe hiring a half-time custodian and buying equipment, because it's just so getting
With the
low.
numbers this year, that's, I didn't bring that to present to you guys, but yeah, I mean, and I can still present it to you guys, but yeah, the full-time position and a mower and truck, I mean, we'd be looking roughly around $100,000. And we could take over doing the mowing and snow removal ourselves.
Well, I'd have to see what the overall cost is to outsource it
I got those
versus.
numbers too,
Yeah.
We did it a couple,
but just look what's going on, so, you know, I didn't think that was something to present to you guys at this time.
Yeah.
But I have the numbers of the last 2 years from CDs and now it's Midwest, I mean,
Okay.
that's, in 2 years is almost $30,000.
so do you want to keep this at 30?
Yes, we could.
Okay.
And here's another one. I'd like to keep this for the simple fact where we are now. Our insurance check for this roof was only $73,000 of the $120,000, but I've already paid $20,000 towards the roof as a down payment when we do the roof. So,
So the insurance didn't cover all the repair?
no.
How
So
come?
I'd like to use a chunk of this balance to add to that $70,000 check to pay the rest of the $100,000 on the roof.
So do it in this budget year,
Yes.
not next budget year?
Yes, but if we keep this, I had this bumped up because of, we've still got 3 roof units for central air that are dating back to 2 of them from the 80s, 1 of them still the late 70s. I anticipate we're gonna need replaced.
On this building?
Yes.
So you wanna leave it at 80?
Yes, if we could.
Okay.
I'm anticipating more big fixes coming, I guess.
And are you thinking maybe just phasing those in, or you, for like the rooftops, for example, or just, trying to get them all knocked out, are there incentives
Phase
maybe?
them in as they go. I mean, like Excel does our photo checks, and I mean, but I know ones, if we haven't had a really hot summer for the last 2 summers, but we have another hot summer this year, I'm sure I'll.
But if you phase them in, they're not gonna get cheaper. Is it better to bite the
Well,
bullet?
that's the thing too,
We'll have to
with
look.
keeping stuff here is, it's gonna get, everything's going up.
Yeah.
And I'd like to keep this number as I presented you three, if we do move forward with doors, that's a $53,000
Doors here.
doors here. And if you want to wait till after, to start next year, but the problem with that is we're on like a 14 to 16 week window of waiting for them.
The
So
doors.
I told Steve and Cody, if that's something you guys thought we'd be doing, starting the next fiscal year, I'd go ahead and have them get the stuff on order.
What are you looking at doors, like,
Just like they put in out to the mill site, sliders with a sensor above the doorway. That makes us ADA compliant.
you got those for 53,000? All of it?
Yeah, and what they charge the mill site, that one set was almost 26,000, I
But
think.
you're a brick building, how are you gonna do that? We're gonna have to do some?
One will be stationary, the other will slide.
Do we have to do both, or can we just do one? 'Cause
We're still gonna have the issue of those doors being replaced. Yeah.
Right, but I'm
And
saying from a-
cost effective wise, Cody said, I mean, the sliders are really cheaper than the swinging door.
And then what?
That's why the mill site went with that slider instead of the old swingers that they had at the east end of the building.
Right, but I was thinking doing, where our ADA ramp is actually
On the north
located
side.
on the north side, do it there, and then maybe do newer doors on the south side and not necessarily,
Well, like I said, the quote, he said really we'd be looking at the same price for doors similar to what we have on the south side as opposed to the slider.
So he's gonna do ADA sliders for the same price on
Yes.
both of, well,
The slider's
okay,
actually cheaper.
then we'd want to
Okay.
do that.
That's why the mill site went with the
I
slider.
kind of agree with Heather, but if he's gonna do the same price, you might as well do it on both
Yeah.
doors. Okay.
and I'm assuming there's, if we lose power, the doors can be manually opened,
So that, you wanna leave that at 15,000?
No, 80.
80 for the annex.
Yeah, oh, I got that. Yeah.
Public health, we're not really, not doing so much up there. There was at one time,
Mhm. Can you go down to
10.
10? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the library's mowing Monument Park, aren't they?
No,
Are you doing it? You're having our guys do it? Okay.
So Monument Park, I know that's on our list of ARPA. Do we need to put that on here as an expenditure?
I would like, no,
we
but
got the
not if
ARPA,
we
we
use
already
it.
got the ARPA in a separate line item.
No, I know to expend, oh, it's on a separate line item than this, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's why I bumped that up so high, I was thinking of the arch from this. So since we've got the ARPA funds, if you guys wanted to
Decrease that,
take 10 from that,
so do 5,
Yeah,
reduce it to 5.
because we
Okay.
budgeted quite a bit in ARPA. Fire alarm inspection, you have to do that every year,
yep,
that's
and
required.
that's the same steady, that's the
Six-
same.
620.
annual
Mhm.
fee,
Is that with Johnson Controls?
yes.
They do all they do almost all the government buildings, don't they?
Depends on what kind of fire alarm system you have.
Mhm.
But there's a lot, I know there's been a lot of service issues with Johnson Controls in a lot of different capacities. And there are other providers that can test their systems too, if that's something you
If
have
that's
a need
something you guys
for.
want me to look into, I can. I think they're handy because they gotta check the Keith lives right here in Marshall.
If you got somebody, you got a good tech that takes care of you, I'd say
The last
keep them.
Saturdays I've come in here because the sensor's being replaced. I can't
Yeah.
come in when I'm not.
If you're getting taken care of, that's what matters.
That's-
I just wanna make sure that was the case, cause if not, there are some alternatives.
And I'd like to stay at that 2,500 because I am envisioning, like I showed you, just get just the we got citrus, I mean, it's all outdated, so I mean, and we may replace now, let me say 20% of them.
Okay.
And we get to the strobes are expensive, and we've done 2 of those, so if we could stay there for now, I'd
Okay.
like to stay.
Sure.
Master gardeners.
Master gardeners were at 3,
I personally think we need to bump that up because they have so
5.
much more to take care of.
on that
They've
south
got all
entrance.
the,
The south entrance.
we could just
Pots and-
all rocks in, but yeah, I don't think it's
And
enough.
she's kind of winning herself out and
I
out to
know,
younger people.
well, they're all
so-
older. I don't know. It might be hard to get people to do this.
So maybe bump it up to 4?
Explain to me how the master gardeners works. It's, they donate their time, but we compensate them as an entity to maintain our.
We buy all the
Flowers
flowers and mulch for it. The flower, the dog ears around the courthouse, the flower beds here. But there hasn't been on taking over the south side of the courthouse just because it's more time and that, but I mean, I think we bumped up the money for them, they'd be more apt to address our south side.
No, we pay for it and they do all the labor, Jess. Which
So
is
wonderful
great.
job.
So it seems to me to maybe run this by, will somebody run this number 4,000 by them and make sure that makes sense to them?
Should I call Roxanne and she'll know who to call? Okay, I can call Roxanne.
Okay.
Do we want to put 4,000 as a placeholder though?
Yeah, and then if she says, and I just don't know how.
Well, when we heard talk last year, anything the plants and that on the south side, they're gonna be more costly than the average flowers they can out on the doctors, so.
Yeah.
So I'm not a flower person, so I don't know the price tags on that. There's somebody answer those questions for you guys other than me.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
I think we just put that 2,000 there as a safety net because of the water pipe break and that out there the prior year. Well, I don't know what you guys, I mean, now we're, I guess maybe we need to pull Mitch in and see what he's wanting to do to the building.
Yeah,
That's his building,
yeah.
and
Well,
I guess that, we just put some money there thinking if we had another pipe break or, anything.
well, maybe leave it as a placeholder just in case.
2,000.
Yeah.
It's not like it goes.
So the next 3 are extermination services for the 3 buildings.
Do you ever bid that out or do you use the same guy?
He's about to save the guy,
Is he, okay, yeah, sometimes.
quarterly.
500, is
And
that
that's,
good?
if you guys want me to shop around, I mean, I will, but I mean, that's just, they do us a good service and.
I doubt he'll come. I asked my guy and they're not interested. They're too busy. So you probably better stay. Yeah. They just don't. Okay, 500.
Any more questions for me?
No? I don't think so.
No, that's good and things.
Chip, I did also give them budget 54 for the local option sales tax, because what all do you pay out of that for your stuff, can you remind?
Any big fixes,
Because there's restrictions on what you can do with that, right?
courthouse, it's gotta be all courthouse affiliated.
Only the courthouse, not the annex?
That's what the code states, and at the time that we did it, the annex wasn't a thing,
Okay.
so that's why it's not, the annex isn't covered. I don't know if you could do anything to that, but the verbiage in the ballot verbiage didn't say
Oh,
annex, it
okay.
only stated the courthouse.
Okay,
So
so
that's
we'd have to
fine.
do another ballot measure if we wanted.
I would think so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I printed that budget with it, just so we could.
And that stays the same, correct? It's just, yeah.
I believe so.
Yes. And this, yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Chip?
No, thanks, Jim, for all you
Thank
do.
you, Chip.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. $17,000. It was on the,
$54.
it was on the, elderly services.
Yeah, they gave it to me.
Everyone.
You can sit, you
Except
can
for
sit,
right
whatever you
there.
like.
I just wanna sit.
Okay.
You said.
No. It was on there before? It was on, it was a single line item on the elderly services packet that we went through. That's 17,000. All right. You're up.
Hi, I'm Julia Castillo. I'm the executive director of HERDA, and this is Brooke Ramsey. She's our business manager. And so I know that the two of you know who we are and what we do, but I'm going to give a real quick rundown. I will be sending you some information later. I didn't get it sent before I left the office today that you can pass along and read more about HERDA more in depth. But HERDA is the state designated public transit system in Iowa that serves 7 counties, and Madison County is one of those counties. So this means that we have a 28E agreement with each of the counties to provide public transit, which also, includes Madison County. So our services are open to the public. We do a lot of trips that are for older adults, people with disabilities, and people that just don't drive anymore. Those are who we serve, but we are open to everybody, and we still do some trips, like if somebody's car breaks down and they need to, they can't get to the car back and forth from the mechanics, we've been doing some of those as well. So I'm going to give you our ridership stats for all of Madison County, and then I'll break it down into just what was within the county, not Winterset itself. So ridership stats for 2024, we did 4,585 rides. That was 124 unique riders. And we had a 95% on-time performance rate, and 96% of the people that used our app to schedule those gave us a 5-star rating. Within the county, does not include Winterset, we did 363 rides, and those came from Berlin, Patterson, St. Charles, Truro, and some rural Winterset. Those went to places like Montrose, Madison County Elderly Services, which I know that's not what it's called anymore, but that's what I'm gonna call it, I can't remember the name. Imagine the Possibilities, and then the others were 2 chiropractors medical, which included not only the clinic, but also to and from the hospital. And we do have some people in rural Madison County, in Truro, where they have to go dialysis, and there's no dialysis clinic close here. So we did start a volunteer program, and last year we did 416 volunteer hours, and that value, they do a value of hours for volunteers, and that valued over 11,989, and that was, it was for more than just that, but a lot of those trips, 3 days a week to get somebody to dialysis, which is exactly.
And that's the volunteer program.
It's a volunteer program. I just want to put that out there because that's how we're trying to keep costs down for using the bus service, because it's much more expensive than it is to pay a volunteer for mileage. So we did start that volunteer program.
It was about 4 years, so this is our, we'll be starting our 5th year in April.
So who, does drivers volunteer?
No, these are individuals,
Very
so
individuals
like
from the
you,
community.
I would volunteer to drive you around, that's really nice.
in your own vehicle, not using our fleet, so that also helps with wear and tear on the fleet as well, which I usually.
So like a free Uber, me doing it. Is that what it's like?
It's on a donation basis, so folks can donate towards the program, and then, sometimes depending on the trip and depending on the volunteer, they won't even ask for mileage reimbursement, but especially with those longer distance trips into the Des Moines area, the volunteers typically do ask to be reimbursed for those.
And from Truro to Des Moines, that's where he goes to. It's quite a long distance, and so, we were able to make an arrangement with him that he gets himself to Patterson, or to Bevington, and then we pick him up from Bevington, or the driver picks him up from Bevington. But it's just, you know, it's harder, I just always think about in the more smaller areas, there isn't, dialysis clinics are disappearing. Where they used to be, they're not there anymore. And then sometimes they've just never been there, and but they, dialysis is needed at least 3 times a week, whether that's, and some people don't qualify for the at-home dialysis because of how, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there.
What's the possibility of increasing volunteerism? It's probably difficult.
So that's actually a good percentage of the, so we fund, for the most part, the volunteer program in Madison County through an AmeriCorps Senior Grant, and it does require match dollars. But for the most part, it is funded through the AmeriCorps Senior Grant. So with that, our annual budget includes a pretty hefty recruitment and marketing budget so that there's awareness. There have been RSVPs, retired senior volunteer programs, in other areas of the state for over 30 years, but there had never been one in Madison or Marion County, so that's why a little over 5 years ago we applied to become the volunteer sponsors, what they consider that. And we found, ironically, that the best way to recruit volunteers is through mailers. You know, nobody wants junk mail, but that seems to be the best. I mean, we've tried billboards, we've tried commercials. We ran a commercial at one point on Channel 8, I think. We've tried, you know,
Are most of
local
your
ads.
volunteers seniors?
It's actually kind of funny. We get some younger folks, but we target individuals that are 55 and plus because
See,
that's
they're
what.
used to getting mail, that's why, really.
That's probably very
Yeah,
true.
they like to get the mail, so. I
But
think
word
that's
of mouth
great.
helps too, and I know
We do
Mildred,
attend a lot of, like, smaller events,
we had a table at the farmer's market, Hy-Vee here in Winterset, the library, so a lot of tabling and just awareness, but the word of mouth also helps, so even though you may not have time to volunteer because you're working, if you know someone that might be a good fit for them, keeps people happy and healthier, actually, volunteerism does, lots of studies on that.
Do you know, when you gave your ride stats, the 4,585 rides, is that just with the herd of us, or does that include the
It
volunteers?
does not include the
So how many rides for the volunteers? I know you gave hours. Did I miss?
No, you didn't,
Sorry, I thought I had that written down. We may have to send that to you afterwards.
Okay, I'll just be curious on how,
yeah, the report I pulled, right before we left the office today, only had the hours listed, it didn't have
But rides with volunteers are probably the longer trips.
they are, we try to do that.
More unique
More
things.
more to the Des Moines areas or, those.
We have a outside of, we have a older adult who lives outside of Winterset in the country, and we've been providing volunteer trips into town for grocery shopping and things like that too.
okay.
So there's other things that happen, it's just the dialysis ones are a little more prevalent because it's a strain on the daily operation to take a driver out of service for that long to go from here to Des Moines. And then you're kind of tossed with, do you dedicate the driver to that for the full day, or do you have them come back and go back to Des Moines again? So that, you know, is a difficult balance.
So if you, Austin, you would have to, you couldn't quit your herd of drive to volunteer.
No, I mean, I could maybe do it on the day that I don't work during the week, but I mean, I guess I don't know if employees can actually be part of the volunteer program. I don't know that much.
We can't have people volunteer, we can have all of our employees volunteer, what they can't do is volunteer for a job they already get paid for. So he can't volunteer to be another driver as a volunteer.
Okay.
And that's.
A wage an hour, that would be
Yeah,
good.
wait, okay, I
Yeah.
understand. Thank you.
So, but we do have, but we're always looking to recruit more volunteers, because the more volunteers that we can get, that can help, that it takes some of the strain off of doing some of the longer trips that we have to do in the county. However, those that we are doing in the county, unless a volunteer has an accessible vehicle, we have people that have wheelchairs, and we have to have a bus for them, because they couldn't just fit in anybody's car. So, so that's where the other rights came from, but we'll get you the volunteer number of
I'm
volunteers.
just curious to see how that looks.
Yeah, no, we're happy to give you all of that. So, the other thing with the with HERDA is, well, within the state of Iowa, we have the oldest fleet of vehicles in all of the states. We used to have the second oldest, but then we now have the oldest, and that increases costs for everything, especially with maintenance, because they have to be brought up to a standard where we feel that people are safe to be using the vehicles. And so our expenses for maintenance so far just this year have been $12,000 just in Madison County.
Is the state gonna look into starting to,
So our vehicles are primarily funded through federal dollars, which do require a local match. And I believe, Julia, the request from the county includes operating funds, which again, our operating funds are 50% federal, do require a local match, so dollar for dollar match there. But then also in the request, there should be some capital replacement funds, because those are different dollars, so.
And they're only, so for vehicles, they're replaced at 80, or it's an 80-20 split. So we pay 80%, the federal government pays 80%, and the match is 20%. However, the reason that we are so far behind on our maintenance, our replacing vehicles now, is during the pandemic, manufacturers shut down. And when bus manufacturers came back, there's only 2 for large buses like DART and Cyrite Run, and there's only 2 for now the smaller buses, because one of them ended up buying up a lot of the smaller manufacturers. So we have really not a lot of competition. And so when those prices went up, for example, we used to pay $90,000 for like a Ford Transit, a 9-passenger Ford Transit, and they're up to $170,000.
Oh, no, now the last one we received was 201 plus. So they've more than doubled since the pandemic began. And part of that, like Julie mentioned, is the lack of competition in the marketplace, but also the cost of everything has increased tremendously. So every component within the vehicle itself has gone up, and I'm sure just
And
like.
that's from everything, from seats to the little
Flooring.
batteries to flooring to lifts, so all of it has really increased. And so we have to know what we're getting from the federal government. And so most of our contracts now that are with the federal government were about 5 years old. And so the prices 5 years ago were around the $90,000 mark. Now, if we're talking a $200,000 vehicle, they don't give us more money for that because the contract was 5 years ago. And that's what they had budgeted, so that's what we get. So it's just, the state, our legislative ask for this at the state this year for the Public Transit Association is going to be that they have to look at how we can get our vehicles up to a standard. And I know it's not gonna all be able to be done at one time, obviously, because there's a huge backlog. But if the state can give us money every year to help us replace the buses, then we can get to a point eventually, several years from now, where we are caught up, and then we can try to maintain them being high.
so have the state rotate faster? Are they going to rotate faster?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Everybody's in a budget crisis, at this point, and so we don't know what that's gonna look like. And again, I think some of it is how well we tell the story of how important public transportation is to people, especially in the smaller communities when they don't have anybody. It's just a little personal story. So been working full-time here my 15th year that I've been with her, but my mom lived with us and my husband lived with us. My mom got sick, she got dementia, my husband got early onset dementia. So I ended up putting my mom in a nursing home, but then it was just my husband, so I still work full-time. I had to get him around in the early stages of that where he could go and get out and still be with people. And anybody from the bank will tell you, he was at the bank every single day, just to say hi and to tell them how wonderful they were. But I had her to do that. Like, Herta went and picked him up and, you know, we paid for it, and he got to go to the bank and then walk over to Commondale and get something to drink and then get on the bus and then come back. So he did that for a year, at least a year before he got to the point where he couldn't do it anymore. But you know, you often wonder like how much quicker would he have deteriorated if he didn't have that, being able to get out and be with people that he knew. He used to walk, but until he got to where he couldn't remember where our house was anymore. Herta saved us from doing all of that. It was a real lifesaver, and you know, so I've got real life experience using it as well as like promoting like why it's important. Unfortunately, he died in November, so we don't have that anymore, but it's just a really important service for a lot of people. And the other thing is like we have had people that maybe their wife goes into ASRIA for a rehab, and now you've left a gentleman home by himself who is used to his wife doing absolutely everything for him. And now he can't drive anymore, so how does he get to go see his wife? Because he needs to see her every day, you know, and we've had instances where we've had to do that. And fortunately with, you know, sometimes they're fine and they get to come back home, and then sometimes they don't. And I often wonder, like, if we weren't there, how would they get to see their loved one? And what if something happened and they didn't get to see them every day, or, you know. So I know I'm trying, those are the sad stories about it, but we do a lot of other things, like get people their medicine and get them to the doctor and get them to the chiropractor. And when we had the eye clinic, we used to take a lot of people to the eye clinic, so we didn't have to go somewhere to like Des Moines to do that, unfortunately.
You do transport people from the nursing home to the hospital too, which is way, way cheaper than using our ambulance, which was for a while during COVID. I think that's the cost.
Yeah.
And if you guys take them over, that's so much cheaper.
We do a lot of things people don't think about, like we help with events too, so like when Ray Bright comes through town, we do things with some of the daycare facilities and preschools and getting kids in the summer like to the pool and different activities to keep them busy and active. We help with emergency responses. That's actually one of the things that we're working on, is here in about a week we'll be submitting a grant to have a study done of our region. We tried this grant last year with DO to have a shared facility so we could have a shared conference space and have indoor storage for not only our fleet but for his assets as well. And I apologize, I haven't met the new emergency manager.
Just walk across the hall.
Okay.
This soundboard is on.
We should do that before we leave, but, but anyway, we're submitting a planning grant to look at how many different facilities should we have, and to see, you know, where they should be. So for example, should we try to place a facility in St. Charles rather than placing a facility in the Winterset area and the Indianola area or something of that nature? So long-term sustainability, what makes sense for us, balancing the ongoing operational costs and wear and tear on the fleet versus having more facilities and having the maintenance and ongoing expenses of the facilities, which I'm sure you know from your budget can be a lot sometimes.
Would you say your rides are going up, down, stacked?
Those are going
They're
up.
going up.
And I think part of that is,
We're such an aging, old population here,
we're one of the,
the oldest.
the oldest of the old is really,
Yeah.
and there's, but they're here in Iowa and they want to stay in their homes. And we want to keep, because that's a lot cheaper too than moving people to nursing homes, you know, because most people can't afford $9,000 a month. That's what it was for my husband. I mean, that's what they wanted for my husband, $9,000 a month. Like most people can't afford that. We couldn't afford it either. Not saying like we couldn't afford it either, but fortunately, not fortunately, he wasn't there for very long. So, you know, but people can't afford that. So you have to have other things in place for them. And I do think socialization is a huge part of getting people out. We've taken a lot of people to beauty salon.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Those
As a
older
person-
women are very particular about their hair.
As a person
All ladies are particular about their hair.
I heard, you know, I had no
Most,
idea
yeah.
how important haircuts were to people
People,
until everything was closed during COVID, and the day that they announced that that was lifted, our phones went crazy with people, and I was like, what's with the hair? But it's important to people.
It's very important. I had a
So-
friend, she was like 89, on her deathbed, and she said, I can't go out like this.
Oh my, oh my.
So I called my friend, she came over and did her hair really beautiful, and she said, I always wear earrings, so I took my earrings out, put them in her ears, and she died the next morning, and her hair was beautiful, and she had
she was
earrings.
happy.
Yes, it is so important.
So, what I was gonna say is, a couple of years ago, we used to have everybody had to call in advance. So sometimes they had to call in at least 24 hours in advance. We had a lot of discussions internally. People don't live in advance. They live spontaneously, right? You know, like I can go to the refrigerator and I thought there was milk in there, but there's no milk in there. I can get in my car and go do that, but some people can't, right? So what do? They're all ready for whatever they need to go get those things. So what we did was we changed our, the way that we book the trips.
We changed software.
We did change software platforms, but people can do same-day trips now. So, if they had woke up this morning and realized, oh my gosh, I really need to go to the doctor because I've got something and it's not gonna get better, they can call, or they can use the app, or they can have their caregiver or somebody use the app.
Or if your car doesn't start, or you have a flat tire, that means you can't plan for it.
So if they have to run to the store, can they call you and can they do that? How long does it take them?
It depends. If it's someone from out in the county, it will take longer. Austin probably doesn't know that because he doesn't see the other side of the software.
Seems like it's a quick turnaround.
So sometimes, like, if it's in town, if it's in Winterset, it's probably only a couple of minutes. But if it's someone out in the county, it's gonna take time for the bus to get from wherever they are to where they're located. But I would say usually it's around 15, 19 minutes, something like that.
So you said you had 124 unique riders. Is that every month, or is that a whole year?
That was for last fiscal year.
Okay.
And most of those riders are multiple riders. They go to the grocery store every week, or they go to the pharmacy, or they're going to an appointment.
So it's a
you know.
set schedule, kind of.
Some of, we do have, they're called subscription services. We do have some of those that go to the same place every month, every week, at the same time. We absolutely do have those as well. And then we can schedule those so they don't have to call in, or they don't have to use the app every time.
So,
I will.
what's your ask this year? Because right now,
Did I
the
ask
current,
I think it was 17, but I'm pulling that out of my.
It is. No, that was
17,000.
what it was.
And then,
did you get a letter? I don't.
and some,
Yeah,
and
they
then some
sent
funding,
it,
that's.
or something we got.
Yeah, Julia sent a letter that had the request in it,
I can send it again.
17.
for operating
Yeah, it was
funds.
the
That's what it is right now.
Yeah,
And then some funds for the capital match in addition to the
In addition to the 17.
so then what's that? So you want 17 plus what?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh,
I thought that I had the letter with me, and this is not the letter.
it's over my
I can resend it though, and put it in there that that's the ask.
So the 17, so you're going to ask for more than the 17,
It's in the same letter.
yeah.
It's,
I thought it was 10,000.
I think it was something like $9,000, because that's a match on one vehicle.
So about 27,000, okay. Is that what you, okay, that's what
How many vehicles do you have?
So in Winterset, we have, 2 Ford Transits. And we have a bus that's dedicated to Winterset too, but we have found that the Ford Transits, they're little 9-passenger buses, they have a lift. They are much more smoother ride than the buses are. People like them better. I think we've only had one complaint that somebody said the seats are higher, so she has to
Kind of hot.
kind of.
They're actually not any taller than the others.
but
Perception.
It could be the way they are.
it could be a lot of things. It could be, but they are a much smoother. So, and the thing about the Ford Transits, which we're trying to get away from the buses more and going more to the Ford Transits, they cost less. Well, they used to cost a lot less, but they still cost less than a bus. They have a smoother ride. They take less in maintenance because we can take them to any mechanic because they don't have that special.
So you have 4 for Madison County, 4 transit.
So I know
One's a minivan and then the Ford Transits.
4 transits, so 4 transits and 1 minivan.
And 1 bus.
We have the bus. I don't know if the bus is it still parked at Madison County Elderly Services? Do you know?
Like the big bus, no.
I didn't
Not that I've
see
seen.
it.
Yeah, I think we moved it because it wasn't really being used here, but it's designated for Madison County, but I think we might have just put it into, like, not using it. Because we're really trying to kind of phase out some of the buses. Now, we have to keep some buses in our fleet because we still do trips in some of our counties for nursing homes where we'll take groups of people, or RAGBRAI. And we didn't do RAGBRAI last year for Madison County, or for Winterset, but we did it a few years before that. And so we just need the buses for some other events, and we help with other things, again, not with Madison County, but for like, what is it in Story County, the disability, the Special Olympics. We take buses there and transport people that can't get around to their Special Olympic events. And so we need to keep some buses in service. But we're really trying to get to where we can operate with less money, or, more efficiently, and not put as much dollars toward things like purchasing buses. If we could just get the manufacturers to go along with that and not have to continue to
Just like with the county, we've had increasing costs in all areas, wages, health insurance, auto coverage. I'm sure you guys have like Campus, we do. So they had notified everybody last year that the base increase was 30%, and then, your loss ratio came into account after that. So significant increases there. I'm sure everybody's noticed the fuel prices have been up. So all of those things impact us, and what we are seeing is a trend of younger workforce. So we used to primarily have our drivers as older adults who had retired from other career paths, and we're doing this part-time to give back in the community, stay active, maybe pay for their supplemental insurance. Now what we're seeing are younger applicants who have families and want and need health insurance coverage, and so those things are playing a factor in our budget as well. So we have to try to find creative ways where we can.
But we need that because the younger older adults are not wanting us to jump. When they retire, they want to retire.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole different mindset,
Yeah,
and so we don't have as many older adults that are retiring applying to be bus drivers anymore. So what the whole industry of public transportation is looking at is how do we get younger people in to see this as a career move of either starting as a bus driver and being able to grow into other positions, or liking the bus driving part so much that they just stay with the same company, so that we are keeping those positions filled. Because as an industry, fortunately, HERDA did really well. As an industry, bus drivers are really short. They're really short staffed on bus drivers, but we've really not had that issue. And we want to keep it that
But
way.
when
So
you have young bus drivers like Austin, will he recruit more young bus drivers? Because I know the people love him and he loves his job. So will you recruit, say
Trust
this
me,
is a
I'm-
great job?
Oh yeah, I'm always keeping my eye out for people. It's hard to find somebody. I'm lucky I have a sugar mama at home. I have somebody that can pay the bills pretty well, and I make a good wage, but the health insurance is really where it's at. So I try to pass that along to friends who fit that bill, but it's.
I have a question. So you had said local match is required for vehicle replacement. Now, does it, when you say local, does that mean state, city,
it can
county?
be state, city, county, anything that's
Okay.
local that's not federal dollars.
Okay,
Cannot match federal dollars with federal dollars.
Okay, so are any of the cities that utilize the service in our county providing any kind of?
We are asking the same, I mean, we're asking for them to step up and put some money toward replacing.
So you're
for
asking
vehicle
10 from
replacements.
us and maybe 3 from St. Charles and 3 from every, so you're just asking?
The only city in Madison County that's ever provided funding is Winterset, and that's relatively new.
Yeah, I know, because we asked a couple years ago that they start, because 80%, well, right now, 80% of the riders are from Winterset.
Yeah,
So how much did they provide last year?
10,000 for this year.
Oh, for this
current
budget year,
Mhm.
okay. Well, they
Not for
provided
fiscal year 25.
Fiscal year 25.
Yeah, we have not gotten in front of them, and I did ask for more money
Okay.
from them this year.
Okay.
And one of the other things that we are doing, and I think Diane, you might know about this, is we are working with Iowa State University they're gathering people from all of our counties that have a vested interest in what transportation is like, so that we can find ways for transportation to be sustainable, because we know it is not fair and equitable for the county to say, you know, like, oh, I need all of my funding from you, or a city that we need all of the funding. A lot of people benefit from the transportation. So we're gathering people, we're having conversations about that, and then there's going to be recommendations of who do we approach, you know, how do we bring them into the fold of saying this is going to benefit you, because we don't take anybody anywhere that doesn't benefit somebody, right?
Mhm.
Somebody's making money off of where we take this people, but they're not putting that back into how people are getting there.
Mhm.
And then we're having conversations as well with other agencies, if they're contracting with us to do special, like CICS, for example, where they pay for us to take for mental health. But where is the places that we're taking them to, like, their money that they get to serve their people is probably coming based on the number of people that they serve. Well, why is some of that money not going back into how to get people there? Because you would serve less people if you don't have
So
transportation.
we're paying 17, plus you want 10 more, but you do go to all the cities. Why don't you reach out and ask Truro to kick in 2,000 in St. Charles and Earlham, and then that adds less for all the county. I mean,
Well, just
because it
as
is benefiting them, like you said, you're taking them to the stores over there, so I think they
It
should
is.
kick in a little bit.
We've been asking that for a few years.
We do agree that there needs to be more city support in that. I just know right now we have, I mean, we worked hard to get Winterset to do it. It's not that we're not going out to do others, but just to paint the picture, we have 7 counties and there's 87 cities in those counties, and there's 2 of us.
Oh, no, we're not blaming you.
No, I know,
I'm just
but
saying
we
that.
are trying, and we need to do more than, I mean, you know, we can send a letter or something, but to get in front of people and really talk about transportation, because that's really what we're passionate about, that's where we try to get the people to really say, yes, I know we need to do something, because they can read, everybody sends a letter, and they read it, and it's like, okay. So I know we need to get in front of more people, but we have to figure out how to actually do that more, when there's just the 2 of us, and everybody's budget is all at the same time, and everybody's meetings are all at different times, and
we also have
and
to
our
understand
county
this.
is the whole 7 counties surrounding the Des Moines area, so it's from here to Story County and Boone and
What if we
Marion.
reach out to the mayors the towns we live in? Because when I asked for money for the police, they all said, okay. I mean, it was that simple. I just said, would you pay more? And they did.
Which time was that?
When we, before you came.
Okay. Because the last time they did, that was not the.
When they did coverage, I said, you're not paying your fair share, you're here X amount. And they said, all right, and they paid more. St. Charles and Truro both did. I mean, it's worth it.
It does not hurt
All
for
right.
you to reach out.
And ask them to, I'll try it.
Well, 80% of the riders are from Winterset.
I know.
And it would be a nice thing if they contributed to the benefit.
They should each give about 2.
So we did have over $300,000 in operating expenses in Madison County last year, and it is more costly to do the trips that are outside of the Winterset area. We're not trying to ask the county to pay 100% of the match. nor are we asking when you're set to pay 100% of the match. We're just asking for some help, because without it, we're going to have to do something different. And like Julia mentioned, we've got the sustainability task force. We've been working on right sizing the fleet to save costs there. We started a van pool program to try and help get folks to work, but in a way that can be more cost effective, because the driver of the van is also going to that job, so you don't have that expense for paying the driver. The volunteer program, so we're doing everything we can, but in an environment where everything is getting more expensive, something has to change, and we don't wanna have to take services away from people. We really wanna be able to maintain what we're doing and keep people happy and healthy and in their homes as long as we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any
Thank
questions
you.
for us?
I don't think so. I know you guys have a tough job ahead of you trying to balance your budget as,
I'll reach out.
but
Why not?
If anyone
Thank
can
you.
sweet talk it
And you're reaching out to who?
I'm gonna reach out to all three of them.
Okay.
It
perfect.
doesn't always work for me. I got told to bend over one day, but
Show them the numbers.
We're having
80-20
leak
numbers.
sometimes it works.
but I will send you more information, just so you have the back, like how Berta got started, that kind of, so you just have more for the, and
Could
then.
you also send like the data, how the rides have changed
Yes.
over the years, maybe the last 5
Oh.
years? That would be helpful.
We can absolutely do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
too.
so much.
Thank you.
2,500 for master gardeners. They said they took 25.
2,500 for Master Garden?
You're up, Steve.
So they're lowering it from 3,000 to 2,500?
Yeah, that's taking it down.
Well, I don't think it's enough because those, all those advertisements, I don't think it's enough. I think we should go to 3 because they don't
Well,
have
it's 3
enough.
now.
Or
We upped it to 4.
It's not enough, I don't think, because they've got so much more, they need to match it.
They may not realize that.
Do they know they have free right now, or they want $2,500 more dollars? And she talks about it every year, and she says, Emily, how much do we have left? And I tell her, she says, oh no.
She said, actually, I think we only spent 1,500 last year, perhaps with the uncertain cost of plants, make it 25.
So
We don't wanna be greedy.
So her kerfluffle is, there's too many hands in there, and so they won't always communicate on what's exactly happening, and so like, they won't understand that cutoff time to submit stuff, so that's where they've had issues in the past.
Let's keep it at 4.
Whatever.
Because I love it.
Okay, and everybody
Keep it
does
at
it
4.
so pretty.
And then if we're surprised, that'd be great.
More box waste time.
Yeah,
Go back.
I know.
Okay, Steve,
All right, Steve.
What do you like to say,
first we'll start at the beginning. Do you wanna keep, what do you wanna keep your salary? You're gonna ask for a raise, you staying
I
stagnant?
asked for one just because I have more stuff going on, so I did 2.5 like everyone, I asked for everyone else. I don't know if that's possible or not, but
2.5 on all your vehicles.
everyone except for Sierra. And I'll explain why when we get to Sierra.
Well, we're in that right now.
Okay, so Sierra I asked for 5%, and that's because she has taken on more responsibilities recently. She wasn't doing criminal jury trials, she was doing mostly civil misdemeanors, juvenile, all the juvenile stuff, and then she also does mental health, and she also does, she did, what else, she did simples, juvenile, mental health, and some, just other basic stuff, and now she's started taking some indictable cases. She's had 2 trials in the last month and a half, and she just won her trial last week. So that's why, due to she's gotten more responsibilities now, and she's doing a really good job from what I can see. That's why.
So she wants a 5% because her workload is bigger.
That's pretty much what I'm saying. So that's why I have her different than everyone else's, because everyone else has stayed pretty much the same.
Well, Sierra recently got a pay raise prior to you coming.
And I don't know what's happened
Yeah.
in the past, so I'm just going off of what I know right now. I just know that she's, my understanding is that prior county attorneys did not have her handling indictables. She's wanted a chance to expand into doing indictables. Indictable would be a serious misdemeanor through whatever. So right now she's doing serious misdemeanors and such, which she hasn't been doing before. which is good for them because it gets their experience, and it's good for us because it gives us and so me and Jamie are going out doing trials all the time. Gives us a third hand on deck.
No, Matt.
Matt didn't, I just know Matt didn't let it.
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay,
Yeah.
office supplies, you have $1,200.
Yeah, so it was, that's a raise of, office supplies, that's the same as last year.
Same, okay.
Yeah, everything's the same except for postage and mailing went up 200, and mileage and travel, we were asking for 500 more because of,
So you want, just a minute, so postage and mailing, you want it to be 1,200,
correct,
and then you want employee travel 2,500.
yes.
What about informational referral services, you have 57,290.
That's our, the
Is that
PBK, like the
That's
CrossFit.
the-
Tom, is it the Thomas Rudder thing?
That's also that, it's Westlaw, it's
Yeah.
also,
And your fee for that went up like $100 or something? net,
Yes.
And it's, I can't remember what
I think it's
Tiffany said.
12,000 a year, something like that.
Is that their reporting thing, Emily? Is that
That's
what
a
that is?
research.
Well, there's a couple programs that
Yeah.
they have to have access to, and there was one that just went up and, you know, we're kind
Carrie,
of.
you probably know that. Is it- you don't-
Is it Carpool?
I think it's a, yes, they have, you have. to
Purple
have
one is
this.
the one that we do, yeah, we have that one, that's our internal thing. Thomas Reuters, Westlaw is our research.
Mhm.
I'm currently trying to find ways to cut that, but I haven't found them yet, not cut it completely, but cut the price. I have appointments scheduled with them, a competitor coming up, but I haven't got anything yet, so I'm trying to cut that, but I don't have anything.
So you're at 57,290. Do you want to stay or do you want
Stay the
to
same,
stay?
we'll
Yeah.
find a way to make it work if we have to.
Education and training, you're at 2,000. Kind of flipping over here.
2,900, user membership 2,000, those can stay the same.
2,000.
We
Well,
have,
we have it at 2,900 right now.
yeah, that's education and training, yeah.
And that's okay, leave it?
Yeah,
Leave it, or you wanna, because on here, it looks like you dropped it to 2,000.
no, that's user membership.
And those are things you have to pay, right?
We have to pay the keep license.
Do you need it at 2,000?
So education and training was at 29,
Yeah.
Yes.
user membership at 2,000. Yeah.
Okay.
That should count, I mean, because that user membership hasn't gone up since I can remember, but
Okay.
each of the three attorneys has to pay, I don't remember what it is, $400, $500 just for one, just to keep licensed in the state every year, and then there's other stuff we have to pay.
Okay. And then you have on here special investigations.
You haven't spent any for a while, do you need it?
Any special investigations? Oh, it's at 0, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, apparently we don't.
Okay, leave it at 0?
Yeah, I think, we didn't spend any, so I think it's staying where it's at.
Okay.
New equipment,
Didn't have anything for that.
so you want to leave it at what, 0?
Well, what was it at? I didn't see anything on it.
3426.
Okay, it's not on my sheet, but I guess we, I mean,
I feel like they would have bought something specific out of there, just
Yeah.
based, so.
yeah, I don't think it's something that we have in the schedule to get new computers or anything like that. Cause I'm not, I mean, cause I think everything kinda goes through IT with the computers, right?
Would that be maybe furniture?
No, not
No,
that I
they
know
haven't
of.
bought anything.
I've only been here since December, so I don't know what else other people bought.
Okay.
A lot of them
I mean,
bought their own, honest, they brought in stuff.
I know that, what's her name, Erin bought her own desk and stuff, so I really don't know what that would have been.
Okay.
I don't have,
If you need stuff, I'll show you where there's all kinds of stuff.
I know you showed me, yeah.
Here, I can show you what's.
And we did actually a really good job of remodeling the office without spending money.
Yeah.
Because we moved the desk in from a different office into my office, then we moved a table, made a conference room in a different room. So like we organized a lot with the stuff that we just had on hand and we didn't spend anything.
And there's stuff off the courtroom you can take too.
Okay. Oh, that's on the forfeiture. Okay, oh, the forfeiture. Oh, I don't think that's not money you guys do, that's money that we got from forfeiture.
So the new equipment is forfeiture?
Well, we have forfeiture money.
Yeah,
That's
so
in the revenue one.
Yeah, that's revenue.
there's, well, this is expense, so this is what you spent out of that.
What we spent out of it, yeah.
Oh,
And
But
then,
that's not money we get from you guys every year, that's
No,
money we
no.
get from
and then
bad guys.
that's the.
Plenty bad.
Okay, we didn't get much. Yeah, this was all from 2 years ago. specific. Because I mean, a lot of the equipment's either brought by the state.
I
'cause they-
think a couple years ago, we got a new computer, is that right, Emily?
Did they get a new
Every-
computer a few years ago?
You might know.
It doesn't look like the budget, I mean, we raised the budget, but we didn't, the money wasn't spent.
Which money?
New
Yeah,
equipment
34.
line item.
I really don't know what we do. It's not even on my sheet, but
So I do have a question though, that you do have $20,000 for special investigations on here for.
that's for HR.
Oh, that's for each other, okay.
So,
You wanna add that to the HR budget?
Yeah.
Or it's already-
That, oh, I did them
It's-
separate, because this is all, the HR part's
Uh-huh.
kinda new, so I added that on the bottom. The top part up until forfeiture money is all the county attorney's office stuff, the HR budget
Okay, I
is,
see,
is below that, because I got that afterwards.
okay.
so you're on the revenue side, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, I see that. All right, so what is this equipment? What are we doing with that?
I have no idea what the equipment is.
Should we put it as 0?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You know
the
what?
equipment
What
is.
if you guys investigate that?
If it's
Yeah.
forfeiture money, it's money that, it's in and out. Right.
Oh, so it's a wash?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
So usually what, that's money like, oh,
We got
somebody
free-
got busted and some things happened, so
And
now
that's-
nothing's happened.
Yeah, like a drug bust or something like that.
Yeah.
And we would have forfeited that things and got it, yeah.
So if we leave it at the 3426, it's probably just a wash, it's in and out.
Theoretically should be.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thanks Emily, thanks Terry. We're working now.
I didn't print them, the HR budget, because I thought she was gonna come in,
I didn't know.
but we can
So I didn't know,
talk
she
about
said
it.
she's never, she said it was always Shelley that did it the best, so I'm like, okay,
This is
well.
true.
She did.
I think I have a copy. So let me see if I have it.
Oh, here's Kelly.
Only one copy of it. I know she has special stuff.
It is forfeiture money, it is, it's the same, okay,
Yeah,
that's what
so
it is. Yeah.
she was gonna come in tomorrow,
Oh, okay.
but,
I mean, I can come back tomorrow if you want. That doesn't matter to me.
well,
Or have her come back. Basically with hers, it was just, I think the only increase was salary, the 2.5, and then office supplies was up $50. And other than that, everything.
But no dues and membership?
For her, no, or 500. Sorry, I must have left that off.
So 2.5% on salary and then just $50 in office, okay.
$50 in office, everything else remains the
So
same.
do we need to put the dues and membership back?
Yeah, $50 or $500.
$500?
Yeah. I just must have skipped that one.
Okay.
$500 for
Not an
Kelly.
accountant, although I play one during the daytime sometimes.
Kelly's is dues and memberships added for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 500,
so
yeah.
Kelly's gonna go up to $200 total for her
Office
office supplies.
supplies.
And what was the other one, I'm sorry?
Dues and membership, it's 500, it's still gonna maintain 500, I just forgot to put it on the 526 budget.
Okay.
And her office supplies was 500. Well, he said 50, is it 250 or 500?
I'm sorry, she has 150 in there
Yeah.
now, and he wants to increase it by 50.
Oh, so he wants
So
it 200.
200 total.
Yeah, okay.
And just as a, forewarning, the labor relations services is Irish and Canadian. I assume they're staying the same, but they may go up, so we may have to do, file for an amended at something, that's a 24,000. That's 2,000 a month to them. If they go up, then we'll have to do, come with an amendment to get more at that point.
Do you want us to, under Kelly, just put some in there in case, or, well, we'll have to put it.
I mean, to keep them, but they haven't said they're going to yet, but everything goes up every year, so I don't know, I don't know when the contract's up, or, because we have we pay them monthly, 2,000.
And it's a contracted rate, and I don't know what the term is.
I don't know what the term is either, so when the contract comes up, they may increase it, and I don't know that number
When
at
does
this
it
time.
come up?
I'm gonna send her teams right now to at least look into it and
Okay.
see, so maybe she could at least have.
Okay.
Yeah, so if they came up with, if it goes up to $500, then we'll have to increase the budget line on that to keep them, but I just honestly don't know at this point, because there's no negotiations or anything going on with them or anything, I don't know when it comes up, so.
Okay, so we wrote that to check. Are we ready for revenue for him?
Yeah, there's not a lot on there.
There'll be collections,
Is that Boca still 20,000, or is that just, you don't know?
I
first page, first line item of the revenue page.
Okay, I'm not sure what that is.
Crime victim assistance,
Oh, okay.
contract.
Oh, the grant that she gets,
Yeah.
it must be the same. So she didn't tell me it was changing.
Attorney collections, is that iffy?
It's
It's
kind,
25.
it kind of comes and goes, it depends on how much we get. Trying to work on a new system to get more money out of that. Because we're not, there's some stuff that I used to do that we're not doing here, that I'm trying, when I get free minute, I'm gonna try to start doing, show causes. It's basically like a contempt action for people that owe me money. They have to show up to court, and then if they don't sign an agreement, then the judge can hold them in contempt, and then they have, because right now, we call them and say, hey, we need you to pay this money, and if they just like, meh, then we don't really get the money, and it just kind of hangs out there. So what we want to do is start having the judge invite them to come to court, and then if they get invited to court, they're going to have to pay the money. Cordial invitation from a judge, which generally gets people to be a little bit more cooperative.
You mean you can't drag them in?
You can if they don't show up, then you get a warrant, then they really are cooperative. So, but that's kind of a plan we have for the future to increase the revenue there, but it's just having a time. I have to get a judge that's willing to do that with their time, which I haven't found yet, but I'm trying to look forward to see if we can find one to agree to do that once a month or something like that, so we can, and the clerks have to talk to you too, because they don't necessarily follow that either. It's extra court hearings. So that's kind of a, yeah, so that's something that we're looking at doing in the future, to increase that, which would, increase Lance's workload there, but it would also increase the, offset of the salary by having more income, so.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thanks,
Thank you,
Steve.
Steve.
No problem, you got any questions or anything?
So,
I'm gonna ask you certain questions you know you can't ask me. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
should we run up and get Kylie and see if she's ready?
Do you want to do that?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
We have your resolution. No. No, I don't need your status.
Do two of them.
Do I do now? I have
Probably so.
I mean, really, I don't know if I think the same thing to we have that So, if you really wanted to go out on a limb, you would take that and dump it into the can.
I've been called the jury to do 12. The second time. I didn't get started. I said, screw it, I'm gonna go back to work today. And I stayed home. But I don't know.
Multiple people saying.
That's the hot seat over there.
I used to
That's the best way I can put it. It's just a little bite. I know the Christmas stores, when your husband, all I need is one box, and they're bringing in all the exactly, and all the ones.
It's still early.
And then, yes, I agree with him, because he can't do a couple boxes. No, they're literally one box at a time. Yes, and they cannot.
Oh, you're talking about her.
Yes. So, right, yeah, so James had to explain this to me about the boxes.
One
I'm like,
box
we
and
have
one
like four
marked one.
boxes open, but they're like one box at a time.
And you try to get them open in the box.
They can't. He's not gonna do it.
It is.
Oh, that's good.
Kylie, oh.
She's went to grab something and Jesse said that.
Yes, yes. And this is Steve Pearson here, what she said. You know, if they get that building, they can now do some really good questions. Which are already going to use that for,
That'll be nice in the spring if that gets open.
Well, they're wanting to use that for some debt stuff.
No, meetings actually.
You know, that'd be good revenue.
Kylie, go down here, so I got the phone.
It's like throat puncher. I'm saying. I guess, were you?
Did you work this morning?
It's, we had an account.
Your
And the
account?
library, did you have a picture?
Oh, no, I just, did you work training?
Yeah.
And Amber, did you talk to Amber?
Don't look like
Yeah,
that.
100%. But that was a good turnout.
Got the teeth cleaned.
Yeah, not everybody's right.
I love it. They're done.
Okay.
We're like, whoa, it's fun for
All right. Okay, everyone's here, we'll go ahead and start that early. Kylie,
We're on the budget
we're on
side.
the budget expenditure worksheet. We'll start there. We'll just go line by line.
Yeah.
So, I know you're kind of new at this, so
Yes.
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay. So the first line is, the salaries. So we normally talk about, you know, what they like. We recommended 2.5% for employees. Then we can go down to the office supplies, we'll get in the nitty
Well,
gritty on
what's
that.
driver's license expenditures in the, what's that?
That's the wage for the person that does the driver's
Oh,
license.
got it.
Yeah. So office supplies, we currently have you at $32.50, what do you think about that? Do you think that's gonna be enough?
So since ours is kind of different, because we have like the motor vehicle, and then we also have like the treasury side. So what I did is I actually just did 4,000 and split it into two, so I just did 2,000 and 2,000.
Okay.
So your average
So
is
office supplies under motor vehicles, 2,000, and then office supplies under treasury management services?
Yeah.
Because that's at 145.
Right, but
It's just easier for you to,
well, and I need to, I'm over, if you look at that.
yeah.
So I don't really know why or how that got like that, but I need to get that fixed.
Just to clarify, this year-to-date number and showing the percentages for year-to-date, and that's through what time period?
Is it August?
Well,
Sorry, I don't mean to.
no, that's okay, I'm gonna
Sore subject. Leave it to me.
I think the accounts are showing more than what month end is actually totally done, so I'm gonna just add something real quick.
So going back, your 2.5 is your ask for raises.
Well, that's what we told them as our placeholder.
And that's what you want for every employee in there.
And on that driver's license, is that still the 32,445?
Well, that one would probably have a 2.5 as well.
Yeah, I know, but we're just adding the 2.5, so I just wondered if it was, that's
I mean, your office supply line looks like it's up to date as of the plan run of 1/14/25.
So did it get?
So you have like a purchase, there was leadership training, office supplies, windowed envelopes, ink, checks, and batteries. Just quick math by looking at it, it looks like accurate numbers of what you have in there. So, yeah, I would say that 38% is correct. On this side, on this one, and yes, I know you have another line over here, but I
Yeah.
think.
Right, yeah, and that's the one that I need to get, that's the one that I'm talking about that I need to get fixed.
Yeah.
And so I'm just more trying to balance it out, because the way that I look at it is I kind of, have that, I guess, like luxury of balancing it out, sort of, if that's the way I do it.
So you want to go $4,000 total for office supplies, and you'll put them in different
Yes,
lines?
I'm
Okay.
dividing it in half.
So 2,000 for motor vehicle and then 2,000 for the
Yeah.
treasury management.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How about postage and mailing? You have $20,000.
Yeah, so that's actually what I was trying to figure out better up there. Yep.
Well, you have six, you haven't used that.
Well, here's the thing, is that,
It's in your postage machine though, isn't it?
well, okay, so, I ran a report before I came on down. So what we have done so far, we have, since we have gotten that machine, I believe, if I'm understanding this correctly, we've sent 33,601 pieces of mail through that machine. So,
3361.
33601.
When was that machine installed?
2000.
September of '23.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah, so.
So since September of '23, we've done that then.
Mhm.
Your quarterly rent on that
Is for,
$484.35.
yeah, there you go. Yep. And it looks like, on the contract, or the lease, we have 41 months remaining on it. I did look that up.
Okay.
And the reason why I can't really give like the greatest of answers right now on that is because I feel best at saying that if I divided those two lines up again, saying 21,000 on each of those lines, because not only is it the postage that is going into that, but also like the renewal letters that go out to like every person, like for their plates and stuff, that's also in there too. So, and then also like the mail services that send out like the tax statements and stuff like that. So that is also as well in there. But back to like the postage upstairs, it's kind of skewed because Amanda at the end of the last year got that $15,000 check, and so that is why it's kind of hard to really give you.
Because she put all that in there, didn't she?
Right.
And where was
Okay.
the check from?
That was at the end of last year, when we had that money. We had it in the budget, and so she was like, well, hey.
Just put it on the,
Yeah, put it on the postage, and we've gone through that. So,
you've already gone through it?
yeah,
Okay.
so we've gone through that on that postage machine, and you can see here, we've gone through $6,000 more, and,
So it's hard to predict based on that, what
Right.
your actual use is.
yeah, because I can't,
So let's leave it at 20.
I think
Yeah.
I can run a report.
Yes, you
to
can.
See, just, if you wanted to look, say, July 1 to current,
yeah.
I think there's a way we could run a report just to see. Because yes, with all that BOS stuff, it's all,
I know, I was trying to figure that out.
yeah,
so I
because
could.
that's, I mean, we preload
Yeah.
that amount on there, and then
Yeah.
just through the year, it comes out, and then when we see it's low, we put more, and so the previous treasurer did it, she saw that, you know, we're getting close to the fiscal year end, I have money in my budget for it,
Just put it
so I'm
on.
gonna put this on there, and then
Right,
get additional money that was already approved for the next year. So
right.
that is what was done for that.
But that skews our planning for this year.
Yes, 100%.
Right, and that's why it's like,
What season is like your heaviest mailer season?
I don't know.
Because like, you know, obviously for our office, hey, November is, because that's when it's election time, so
Yeah.
it's hard to see what our real postage is until we hit our heavy mailing season.
You know, I don't know anymore, because honestly, Angie, I mean,
Would it be when the tax statements go out?
no,
Oh, we hire people.
right.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's third party, so,
So you must
Um,
be fairly consistent throughout your 4 quarters, maybe.
yeah, we really are.
I bet you are.
It's kind of crazy, because, I mean, Angie said, I mean, some of the times that we had previously been, like, maybe slower, she's like, it's not slower.
You know,
People are
you
still
can-
buying cars.
You can run a report, because I used to, and it's a breakdown of each quarter.
Yeah,
I know, and that's why.
can do that.
With the new postage machine, it is, you have to know, and you gotta mess around on it a
Yeah.
little bit.
And I just got, that was one of those other things, I just got access to that today, and, yeah, I was trying to mess around, but
Should we
also-
leave it at 20 and then look into it?
So I did, and I have to say, I did 20 on each of those two
I know.
lines, so.
So you did on each?
Okay. Yeah.
So we have 40,000 total.
Because looking back historically, with the exception of the motor vehicle spend in fiscal year '24, you remain pretty consistent, anywhere between 12 and 16,000.
You know, I think it's too high, but
Do you pay for those tax statements out of this budget, do you know? It comes out of the same line, so this isn't just a reflection of the actual physical postage that we're sending out. It's
No.
also for those tax statements. Do you remember which, company you use for that off the top of your head?
Yeah, that's meal services.
I just,
Yeah, it seems like we could take it down a little bit just based on the projections and,
let's go 18 times 2 for now. Can we do that? Todd?
Yeah, and then, I mean, I would
And then you
like to.
can run that report
Yeah.
and figure it
Okay.
out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yep.
For each one.
Super straight and the same.
Employee mileage and travel, you got 650, you've already spent.
Yep, and so I am actually keeping it at that. I would like to anyway.
Education and training, you have 500, keep it?
So right now, I bumped that up to 750. Just because if you look back, well, right now, it says that, the report that I'm looking at, it says that she hasn't done anything. And I don't know about that,
And I think you should
Right.
Take all
allow
the training.
more training.
Right,
Yeah.
and so I don't know what's gonna happen, but
We have
whoever.
750.
Right.
Okay.
Planning ahead.
Dues and memberships, 125.
Yeah.
You have to pay those.
Right, and so I just kept that the same because it looked like that's what it's been for the last, how many years?
just for reference, it looks like we paid mail services, let's see, it was $9,000. So if that's, and it came out of that same budget line, so that's just, if we're paying them,
Yeah.
you wanna just round up and say 10 grand every year to send that stuff out. Plus then, you're almost $500 rent every quarter, and then the actual postage upstairs. I think that's what we get.
Right, yeah.
Wrap around on that, is
are
that
you
okay?
talking about the postage and mailing line items?
Yeah, so if we go 18 and 18, is that enough?
She's saying that's too much, it's just
Yeah.
based on numbers.
I mean, I think we would have to maybe look up there and see, like,
Right.
roughly how much you're
And
spending.
postage is going up, so that's something we have to.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you put whatever you want right now, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that's
We
I'll
can
keep
change
that in
it
mind,
what
yeah.
it's
once we
showing
have.
me.
Different data.
I wrote on here to check into this, is
Yep.
that, okay?
We'll do for sure.
Now you're on the motor vehicle page, so
Yeah, salary raises, probably just 2% on that one too, correct?
2 or 2.5?
I'm sorry, 2.5.
Yeah.
And health is about staying the same. Office supplies, you're 145.
She did 2 and 2.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Official publication and legal notices.
Yeah, I did the 1,500 from the previous, the 23-24 year,
Okay.
because there's nothing yet that was turned in.
Okay.
The one I'm looking at anyway, so I just wanted to err, I guess right now, on the safer side, until I have more time to, I was gonna call and talk to them, but I just have it on the tracks.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And then mileage and travel,
Mhm.
education, training, dues and membership. This looks like it's just the same as the
Yeah.
motor vehicle side. for
Yep.
Treasury management, okay. Okay.
You went to 750 on the other side for education and training, you went 750 on this side as well?
Yeah, I did, and also some of that is because I really would love to, I mean, I don't know what's out there quite yet, but I know that there's things for also like the other people in my department, I would love to be able to send them to the DOT and, or other offices, because we all could use some extra, and there's lots of different things going on.
And if you
so.
wanna go to other offices, you know, just ask us, we could call Osceola and they'll,
Yeah.
and other counties,
Yeah.
they'll help you.
Yeah,
Or they'll
for
even
sure.
come up.
Mhm.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions on the expenditures at all? Let's move on to revenue. So, interest on investments,
Okay. This is where it's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna be really honest, I don't really know a whole lot about that line.
okay,
And this whole revenue side, I'm a little confused and a little like lost on, because I feel like these numbers don't really add up and make sense in my mind. Because I feel like it should be more. From what I know and what I've seen up there, it doesn't seem correct in my head, so. So
the
that's
fiscal
why I
year
said-
'25, you know, the estimated for fiscal year '25 doesn't seem,
Yeah, like what we've received, that's what I'm
Okay.
trying to say. So
Okay.
that's why but then again, I don't know how, I just don't know how it's entered in or how these numbers come about, so that's why
Yeah, we definitely, I mean,
Yeah.
Terry and Emily could help, can't you,
Yeah.
got you too?
all it's telling me is that there's, you know, I don't know, that doesn't seem super helpful.
Right.
Yeah, I know, that's my goal. Yeah, we might have to just look into that one a little bit.
Yeah,
Because it's not traditional revenue where someone's bringing us in a check, where I can be like, oh, look,
I know,
Bob
yeah.
brought us in a check, and that's why we have money there. This is a different bubble
yeah,
stuff. Do you think a bank would have like that?
right, and I'm like, are we talking like CDs on that one, or are we talking?
Well,
I know
she
we
had
have
all,
CDs.
there were CDs. You know what, you could call the banks.
Oh, well, I have that in mind,
You do,
okay.
because I don't think it's in
and you're not gonna like that stuff, so.
Oh, okay. We're not gonna like it.
No, you're not. No, so,
So we need to figure out how to get you the resources that you need to help
Figure this,
figure this out.
Kylie, can you reach out to another county and have somebody come out?
yeah,
Another-
and I definitely will. My biggest thing, and I promise I will reach out.
Yeah.
I'm not one to not reach out to people, but my biggest things right now are, well, my biggest thing currently right now is that I need to, I'm just figured out this huge, what I was off for, January, on January 24th, so that I can finish that month, and then I can send out some information on hopefully figuring out this TIF information thing situation.
You had a
This,
big moment for that.
yes, I
Yay.
almost ugly cried, really.
Yay.
Yeah.
I feel like crying right
Yeah.
now hearing that.
So, that was, and still is my biggest priority right now, because I have to have that done
Yeah.
by Wednesday, like that is what I have to do, and then this was my
Secondary.
kind of
It's
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
So the revenue side, we're a little bit stuck till you figure this out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then,
Come back.
once I get that done, then I feel like I can start tackling some of these other, monsters.
So we have time,
Yes,
this is just kind of the first pass.
yeah,
So,
but,
so are you comfortable with any of the ones on here, other than the investment, or all of revenue you're not quite comfortable yet?
No, not really at all,
Okay.
just because,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately, I just don't.
Maybe you
Yeah.
and I at some point.
Yeah, cause I
can
mean,
try
like, even like the tax sale certificate fees, like, there's, with the receipt, there's a negative, and I
Yeah.
don't,
That doesn't make any sense.
right, and that's why I was like,
Did we refund money to somebody? I mean,
No,
that doesn't make any
that's-
sense.
Right.
Because some of these seem quite low.
Kylie, there's
Yeah.
an old treasure, reach out.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
maybe.
yes.
I don't know what the liability would be, but I have always had suggestions about the
Mhm.
revenue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, well, you could suggest.
Do you guys have like, I know on Otter's side, they have base camp. Do you guys have something like that with the Treasurers Association where you have a network where you can
Yeah.
ping each other with
Mhm.
questions? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, they do, and, I mean, some people have reached out, and like I said, I'm just.
You're just getting your head above water.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think everybody understands that,
Yes,
so.
and I appreciate that.
So we're gonna write, you're checking into the revenue, and
Yeah.
you'll work with Terry and whoever, everybody, Terry, Emily. And get. So how bad are we not gonna like it?
Yeah.
Or we're- it's
So
good?
I brought that information down. So the CDs sat, they expired. So they, let me see, there were, just trying to say, there were, what?
Did they auto renew?
No. No. Let's see. One was March. March 2nd. And there was one on April 7th.
So you're talking 24?
And then there was another one that
Are all our CDs in the same bank?
we do still have one currently going, like still, it's still good and valid. And it's not, it's gonna be ready to, like up for bid again, and that is in May,
Okay.
so.
How many CDs do we have?
Right now, the ones that I know of, and I haven't investigated all of them, it's just that one that's at Farmers and then these, which I know, I mean, they're actually, so they're not CDs.
They're just, the cash is just sitting there in the account? Or how does it
No,
work?
it's a check that has been wrote out and is in the city.
It never got put anywhere?
No, I never got put anywhere.
How does that happen?
How much is the check?
It is, $1,750,000.
Is it still valid?
Yeah.
How long has it been sitting in a safe?
It just got wrote that week, like, we had just picked it up, I think, on that Wednesday or Thursday, that everything, like,
Yeah, it's okay.
yeah.
So the CD expired and the check was written just that week? No.
Yeah, because we had sent out, it was one of those things that, she was trying to get some bids for the CDs because she knew that she needed to
roll them over.
roll them over.
Yeah, she needs to do something with them for these 3 CDs.
Do you stay in county? Because CCOG, we call every bank and we pit them against each other and we just get the highest, and we split up money, $500,000 in this bank, $500,000 in this. You can't do that?
I don't know why they wouldn't use banks in Madison County, in our own
Right.
county.
Well, I think you should first. I
Right.
think you should, but if
Because
it's
if
so
we need them,
low,
we can,
Right.
I think you should use
I
them.
don't,
Yeah.
I don't, the only ones that I know of were those 3 at Farmers, and then there's one currently still there.
So you have 2 CDs expired in March '02 and April '07, and then you've got 1.7 mil in the safe, and then one expires in May. Okay.
so the one, okay, so there's only one check in the safe, or there are 3 checks in the safe?
There's just one.
One check in the safe.
Well,
And that's from those 2 expired CDs?
3 expired.
3 expired CDs?
Yeah. And,
What was the date on the third one?
yeah, here, I'm just gonna figure out. Yeah.
March 2nd, April 7th, and then a third.
So April 7th was one of them.
And you said March 2nd.
Oh, no, I apologize, I was wrong on that, March 2nd. So April 7th, and then, June 26th, and, yep, and then June 18th.
And those have expired.
Yes. those
And then
all-
that March '02 is just an error. Okay.
Yeah, I,
Okay.
So
did
it's
not
June
look at that.
18, June 26, and April 7th that have expired, okay?
yeah.
But you can still get those in something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but we missed out on all that interest.
I know.
Right.
I would keep them in local banks, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
but, you need to roll those over as fast as you can.
Yeah.
and then one is just a check. So 3 expired CDs, one's expired in May, and then there's a check sitting in,
So these
Safe
3,
They turned them into a check and
Yeah.
wrote them as a check.
Yeah.
one check for
Yep,
all
one
3.
check.
Okay, all right.
Yep,
And then there's another coming up in May.
in May.
So she's got, so you need to get that check in the bank.
Yep. Yes, I'm just not really at this moment in
I
time.
know,
I
you're,
promise.
we know, we
Yeah.
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, and I know, and I very much appreciate
We've
it.
dumped a ton
Yeah.
of stuff on you, okay, we get it.
But, yeah.
Thanks for being truthful.
Well, of course you
I mean, bad news.
But
All right, we'll
we'll
get
get
through
the,
it.
we'll get it in there.
Sound good?
Yep.
Easy about it.
Okay,
So we need some clarity on the revenue side, but that is not a priority from what you're dealing with, so, sounds like you've got a plan together and an order of priorities for your time, because I know it's valuable. What can we do to help you other than that?
Well, she said Emily and Terry said they'll help,
Yeah,
and you
Yep.
could call another county.
yeah. Yep, I mean, right now, just, yep, just that tip thing is seriously my biggest thing. 'cause
And
I
that
just-
has to be corrected, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
Or the-
does.
Yes,
Yeah.
really.
Mhm.
Is that for Roxanne?
No,
no, that's for AG's.
that's
For
for the
Con.
county and the city and for
Yeah.
us to get along, so.
Well, you're getting it.
Yep.
All right.
It's just, yep, that's why I said I kind of almost cried ugly tears today. So, yeah.
Well, I think everybody appreciates you and the job that you're doing.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Did you
And
have-
these two will help.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have anything for us?
I know, right?
I suppose it could have been. They can't.
I don't think so.
Do you feel like you're at 75% salary, right?
But yeah,
Do you think that needs, I mean, do you want to advocate for yourself for that to be increased anymore since you're doing the treasurer's job right now?
Yeah, why
Yeah.
don't we have that as a it's not on tomorrow?
No, that's
No,
her.
She would have to, I mean, she doesn't have a department head to say, hey, I mean, she is her own, so she would then have to.
Thank you for bringing that up,
Do that
Emily.
herself.
Do we have it in the budget for that? Do you know?
Do we have it in the, I would have to look over their stuff closer to be able to say whether it is or is not in there, just because their budget, their salary line is just a little, there's so many people in their stuff.
Yeah. Now, I think there's a part-time clerk that's in the budget, but she never hired for, so that might, is that still in the budget?
Was that, I thought that, I
know
thought
she had a
you just
season-
approved the seasonal one. Or
We
is there a
approved this-
part-time person
I
too?
thought there was, and if that's the case, then we might have
Yeah.
it.
We can put a little bit, how much, advocate for yourself.
I'll
There
say
is-
max, 85.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
17.
There's
Absolutely.
a wage temp part-time, which nothing's come out of that,
Yeah.
so your part-time seasonal isn't paid out of that line, so there's $2,000 in there for that.
I mean, I know that we would like to keep, I don't know, my office, the office, I don't even know. Would like to keep Anna as the seasonal person, because she really is a huge asset to us when she comes back during like the breaks and stuff like that, so. She's a great worker, so.
How much more will she work this year, this fiscal year, do you know?
Well, I would think like the spring break time, so
So-
March, and then, I don't know what college does with them, like, I don't know.
Cause if you could ask her, cause like what's
Yeah.
budgeted in your, part-time, roughly
Mhm.
$32,000, right?
Yeah,
We spent roughly 5,000 of that currently for her. And so if you know, hey, she's coming back for 80 hours spring break, sorry, 40 hours probably, unless you wanna work her real hard.
I think when I think the number that you had sent me, I think I put it up to like, was it 316 hours or something? And I Yeah.
forget her hourly wage.
I think I did 3 weeks or something like that,
Okay.
because I didn't know how long their spring breaks are, and normally I was thinking like college spring breaks are like 2 weeks.
Depends what school.
Yeah, and then, a lot of times colleges get out earlier than what like colleges do, so that's why I was kind of thinking.
Would you maybe see
Yeah.
that, just like,
Yeah.
hey, when do you think maybe you'll be back? Cause then I can, if we can say,
Yeah,
yeah, she's gonna work, I don't know, 4 more weeks of the year,
Right.
then I can
Yeah.
look at that a little better, and we don't have to obviously deplete that
right,
totally,
having a better,
but then
yes,
if you
yeah.
can look at that and have some numbers, then that
Yeah.
will make things a little easier to guesstimate on
Yeah.
that. But I think there is wiggle room to give you, an increase to whatever the board thinks, I'm sure that.
But what we're talking about is going to 85%, but why wouldn't she get the full treasurer's salary?
Because she's technically not the
She's
treasurer.
not the
She's the acting treasurer.
Even as acting, she doesn't qualify for that.
She's not the elected official.
We have to continue to pay the treasurer until the treasurer has resigned or has been impeached. So unfortunately, that salary is earmarked.
But within our bounds, we can get her to 85%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably,
Okay.
yes.
Well, we're
I think
gonna
we-
check if we have, make sure we have a
We'll
budget.
see.
Yeah,
But we'll put a benchmark of 85 and see, and then mess with the numbers.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Connie.
Yeah.
Ask if you need help,
Oh, I will,
reach out.
I really will. I'm not above asking, I will definitely ask. And I mean, I've already been asking, so.
Good.
Yes, your one question is on my radar for tomorrow.
Yes.
So when you guys figure that out, get a resolution together, bring it before the board.
Okay.
Can she do her own resolution for a wage increase, or does it need to be done by, what's kosher, Michelle?
That's a good question.
I should not have done that one for myself.
I wondered if that was enough.
I don't think you should do your own resolution.
So,
I could do an HR resolution, we can do an auditor resolution for her because
Well,
by proxy, that would work.
Let's do an HR resolution and not do your own.
Well, or an auditor resolution,
Um,
because they know the money.
Yeah, or they can do
Well, the
it.
auditor can. the
I think
auditor's
that
office
they
can do
know
it.
the money, whether the money's there or not.
That's fine, either one can do the, I don't think it should be you.
My gut says HR should do it just because
Me too.
of the
Yes.
I mean, either one though.
situation.
Oh,
I would do H.
okay.
But with that, I can work with HR and we can
Yes.
check the budget, and we
Yes.
can do ABC before we
And I
get
can type letters on top of that thing.
prove it.
Yeah, right?
Thanks, Kylie. If Pearson's here, will you send it in?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kylie.
And,
Keep
Keep your
that
head
up.
up, Kylie.
Yep, yep, we appreciate it.
Is it great, does it have a revenue side?
Did I not print it? Possible that I missed something.
He'll have it. That's okay. Hey, Steve. Hi, Steve.
Good afternoon, Nathan.
You guys gonna take a break or?
No, we're clicking along.
For everybody,
Thank
this
you.
is a copy of our annual report from last year. I'll be giving it, we got a new one that's going to print right now.
thank you very much.
The cover sheet.
Steve.
Bitch.
Name.
All right,
Ready?
well, go ahead and start.
We're on the expenditure slide.
So I did put together a packet for each one of you. The packet includes the cover sheet, and then what I've done is I put together a budget spreadsheet that's gonna compare budget 2024-25 to the proposed budget 25-26. So you guys will have a copy of that. And I also, our state agency provided some additional information as far as the impact of county conservation boards in Madison County in particular, economic impact. That's really good information. You guys take that home and take a look at it, but I'd like you guys to review that and be considering this year's proposed budget. I mean, there's pretty eye-opening information as far as the total annual economic impact of over $3 million of our program that have in Madison County. So, and I'd like to just kind of start off and say, the budget that I'm proposing tonight has been reviewed and approved by my Madison County Conservation Board. And yes, I do apologize that we didn't get a meeting scheduled with both of us. I know we exchanged emails, but
We'll get there.
soon. So, and then we can kind of explain our governance code and then our operations here in the county. So for the proposed budget, we're proposing a 47.52% increase. The total operational budget will go from 674,872 to 715,624. I've broken down on the cover sheet if you guys are following that. If you guys want to review the cover sheet, and then we can go right over the expenditures, or do you guys want to do?
So are you asking for a 6% raise?
No.
6% increase in the budget.
The total budget?
Yes.
Got it.
Do you want to follow that, the cover
Well,
sheet?
It's, I don't know, we usually go down.
We usually
one-
go down our
The
expenditures.
budget
Alright.
expenditures,
Yeah.
and we can look at both.
Okay. It's all the same information, it's just more condensed, and, so our budget's broken up into administration and then maintenance and operation. As you guys can see, if we're looking at this sheet here, the yellow one's gonna be our expenditures. The top portion is gonna be the administration part of it. There's no change in the proposed budget for the administration. So 20150 is 20150 for the proposed budget 2025 to 26. As we get into the maintenance and operation, we have regular employee salaries. That's gonna be a $10,900 increase, and those are 2.5% up to 4.5%, because I did have one staff member that was significantly behind on his staff salary since he was hired 3 years ago, so we're trying to get him up to speed and equivalent on his salaries. So the way we determine our salaries is our state association does do a wage salary increase. They fill it out every year, and it comes back, and that information is available to the director to guide them on their salary increases. So. Next line item is gonna be 611-101-22. That's going to be the part-time wages. That'll take a little bit of an explanation. So that's an increase from 44,022 to 54,374 for a 10,352% increase. And the way that I've got that broken down is I have 2 seasonal employees. One's Jesse Lowry and the other one's David Cosleridge. I'm proposing a 50-cent increase per person. So Jesse would go from $21 to $21.50. David would go from $18 to $18.50. So 50-cent increase in their per hour salary. As you guys know, we're going to be opening the new Conservation Center building. And that's where the additional hours come in. So David Kozlovich, he's retired from U.S. Postal Service, and he works in the summer as our park aide. So he comes on staff in April, and then he works until September. And he assists us with our park manager, and he does a lot of park aides work for us. He's retired from Postal Service as a maintenance person, so I approached him and talked to him if he would be interested, instead of hiring or trying to budget for another additional person, if he would come on and stay on through the remaining of the year. So stay on into October, all the way back around to April, working 2 days a week, just to come in and do custodial work. And then that way we don't get wrapped up with additional benefits. And so that's what we're gonna try for this first year. That's what I'm proposing. So he would work 2 days a week on the off season, doing maintenance and cleaning in the new building, as opposed to hiring out a commercial contractor or hiring a full-time staff member to come in and share those responsibilities. So the additional custodial hours is $9,250. The salary increases, the 50-cent increases, is $1,102.
And if I'm sitting next to you and you're eating snacks.
As we move down, the next percent increase.
Well, you have FICA and IFRS remaining the same, and those will actually need to go up, won't they, with the wage increases?
Those get plugged in by the county auditor, so I don't have that information, so that always in the past, it gets plugged in by the county auditor.
So I'm a little confused. You're asking for 50-cent per hour increase for 2 people or all of you?
No, for 2 people, that's for our seasonal staff, yep,
The part-timers.
part-time employees. So if I get an I group, they do, that gets plugged in by the county auditor. We all move down to 611-232-22, that's our custodial supplies. I've got a proposed $7,000 increase. Previously it was $3,000. I'm proposing to take it up to $10,000. The justification for that is we've done obviously we're going to be using more custodial supplies, and then we would like to do a one-time floor-to-ceiling, wall-to-wall cleaning of the building annually, and those estimates are coming in around $5,500. That's for the commercial contract and cleaning services. Move on down to the next line item. 0611-292, that's recreational supplies. I'll be reducing that budget amount by $9,000, so I'm taking it from $3,000, so that'll be a reduction.
Why is that?
That's for this year, coming out of this year's budget, I had increased it up to $12,000 so I could buy outdoor furniture for the patio, exterior patio area. And then obviously we'll have that purchased this year, so I can reduce that line item by $10,000.
In the winter, where will you store that, all the outdoor furniture? You have to take it up here?
We can take it in, but we've got storage area we have two mechanical areas in the new building, or also we could utilize the space in the old nature center, the smaller building. We also got space upstairs, or maybe I can put an EMS there.
Yeah.
Next line item is 0611-432. That's water and sewer. I'm proposing to increase that by $1,000. And that's basically just additional utility expense from the new building. 0611-433, utilities waste management. Proposing to increase that by $500. Same with just additional additional charges for the new building. You guys turn the page, we're over at 611-443. That's construction and operation. That was cut last year by $5,000, so I'm proposing to increase that by $5,000. Basically, that's for Middle River. We would use that for projects such as the sidewalk at Middle River Park is starting to wash out. That would need repaired, or Middle River Water Trail access needs to be repaired. So those are the types of projects we would use in a construction operation.
Okay, and you're gonna increase that by 5,000?
Yes, that was cut last year by 5,000, so originally normally that's where we kind of earmark that line item for.
It's always usually around 10,000?
Yes,
Okay.
in the previous years. We can move down to 0611-635, motor vehicle.
What number are you on?
635, motor vehicle. Okay. So proposing to increase that by $15,000. That's for a vehicle replacement, and the vehicle that I would like to replace is a 16-year-old half-ton pickup that's got 148,000 miles on it.
Is that the one you have to climb through the window to get in it?
No, it's not.
Is that, because I know we had it in the budget for you to do that this year for purchase. What did you purchase this year?
No, we didn't have a vehicle purchase this year.
Because we budgeted 25,000 for it, and I'm showing,
That was for the UTV.
okay.
So what I'm trying to do is for you guys supervisors, so for us, we've always had our vehicles and we put a lot of miles on them. And then we never did replace them under the old previous director. So what I'm trying to do is purchase vehicles that have a warranty. So like the newer vehicles would have a powertrain warranty, so if a motor or transmission goes out, or we have 5 vehicles on staff for each one of our staff members. So I'm proposing that we replace the vehicle, so that person gets a new vehicle, they're gonna drive it for 5 years, put approximately 10,000 to 12,000 miles on it, it's gonna have 60,000 miles on it.
So you're gonna rotate them out?
It's still gonna have value, so every 5 years, you're gonna get a new vehicle. And you're gonna be driving a vehicle that's got about approximately 60,000 to 70,000 miles on it. If something does happen with the powertrain, that's usually covered under warranty, so I don't have to come back and ask you guys for additional funds, say, hey, we got a transmission go out on one of our vehicles. It's gonna be covered under warranty, so that warranty has value for us when we're driving reliable vehicles.
Is there a way you can get the word, a list of all your equipment, years,
I do have that.
have that?
Yeah. You would like to have a copy of that?
Yep.
Have a copy for you?
And with mileage, problems have mileage?
It's on that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome. So the one that we are proposing to replace is the 2009 Chevrolet Silverado half-ton.
What do you think you'll get out of that?
So we sell our vehicles and they have to, per state code, they have to go to public bid. So we actually basically just look at the blue book value of it, we try and get close to that. And that gets turned back in as revenue and goes right back into the general fund, so,
They don't allow you to trade.
you know.
You can't trade any government vehicle.
We sell it outright to the general public, and we have to take bids on it, or sell it at auction, or on Craigslist, something similar to that. So everybody has to have an equal chance or opportunity.
So I just have a quick question. On the construction operation, I'm looking at our expenditure worksheet on that.
Where you at, Heather?
The 443-22 there on the expenditure sheet, where you want to increase from 5 to 10,000. In looking at our expenditure worksheet, it looks like to me, we budgeted 5,000 every year prior to that. With the exception of fiscal year 22, we had 22,000, so there must have been some kind of special project or something we were doing back then. But are you maybe thinking the line above where repair and maintenance, because we budgeted 10,000 last year for that one. So I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right line.
Yeah, so 443 was, should have been 10,000 last year, and that was the one that I kept 5,000 out of.
Because it was 5,000 for fiscal year 25, which is the one we're in right now.
You didn't spend it, so we have.
It was 5 for fiscal year 24 in the budget, and in fiscal year 23, I don't know if this was spending, but it was 4,500 in fiscal year 23, and then a little over 22,000 in fiscal year 22. So, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly, that we're not confusing the repair line with the operating construction equipment line.
See, if you wanna see what they're looking at.
Yeah, that's, you got the updated sheets. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, is that from 24 to 25?
This is 24, 25. So unless you spent something like this, then just think of it.
Right. Okay.
And we can come back to
Yeah,
that
we
when
can
we look
circle
at
back
that.
on that, yeah.
So, I just want to make sure we understand it correctly.
Your budget's weird though, right? Like, cause they, like theoretically, they can just tell you a total dollar amount you have to cut, but the board can't mandate what you cut. They just have to say you get $50,000 less, you just have to figure out what to take that out of.
Correct, yeah, that's per Iowa code.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that, so, yeah.
But how,
Well, I want to understand where all the money's going,
Right.
so if we do decide to cut, it's not too impactful or minimally impactful.
Right, so that line item is typically, like I explained when I was doing the presentation, I mean, that line item is typically for operations such as like the erosion on the sidewalk, some type of, something that's a little bit less foreseen that we hadn't planned for. It's not for that capital improvement line items, it's for something that, if we have a culvert that gets washed out, which we had one year at one of our Deer Creek and down in Plant Creek Natural Resource Area, we had a culvert. Now we got a sidewalk that's washed out, and as far as where the rivers eroded the access. So that's kind of what we use that earmark or that line item.
now you guys, if you can, you do a lot of your own repair work, is that correct?
We build most of our, all the facilities that we've had in our parks, we built them ourselves, we use our own labor and our manpower. We've got that skill set to do that with our workforce. Obviously the new building is different, but yeah, everything that we you'll see in ours, like the yurt cabins, the mini shelters, camping pad improvements, those are all done in-house. Obviously, we'll subcontract out some concrete if we need to do that, but a lot of the building structures we build in-house ourselves, so. So we can move over to
Revenue.
the revenue side, which is gonna be the green sheet when you guys look through your packet. I try and make this as accurate as possible. We're staying steady with our camping fee, that's kind of leveled off, basically. We've got 36 modern sites at Panel, 16 modern sites at Crisco. We're pretty much maxed out on our camping availability. So that number is pretty steady with us at $55,000. I did increase our shelter rentals this year from $5,000 to $8,000, so that's a $3,000 increase. That's what we're projecting. Hopefully, on the new building, we'll start having some rentals. I think it's gonna be a very popular location for weddings and family reunions. And I was a little bit conservative on that, but I wanna be as accurate as possible and let us get through this first year and see where we're at with that. And, so.
I attended a North Middle River watershed meeting. DNR wants to start using that building for stuff, which would be good for you.
They would pay us, right?
Oh, I'd make, yeah.
I've had a couple meetings with Wildlife Bureau in Southwest District 4.
Oh, the Fish and Wildlife?
No, for Iowa DNR.
Oh, I would be not.
And that was one of the things that we talked about, was potentially sharing some office space, or they could potentially lease some office space for them.
Yeah, that was mentioned to share. And that would work for you?
We would have space available.
Yeah, and you can charge them rent?
Correct.
So when are you gonna open officially?
Officially,
Yeah.
there's a process to open officially, so we are pursuing that, and hopefully within the next 2 months, we should be really close to that, so. We're gonna follow our process and legal advice, and, but we're gonna be really close, so.
So by May, you'll be open and going?
We'll be asking for substantial completion, yes,
Good.
so.
Because then we'll have an idea by next year, what we're bringing in
100%.
for leases and rent.
Yeah, 100%.
What will you charge for a wedding to use that? Do you know yet?
That right here, Dan.
Oh. Great.
There's wedding rental rates, regular rental rates,
I think that's too cheap.
for the event room, $1,500.
That's really low.
That's way too low. The one over by St. Mary's is like
That's
$6,000.
low.
For a wedding?
Or is it
Yes.
3? Oh,
No, I said it should just, you charge 3,000.
Yeah,
that's too low.
that's too low.
Can I speak? So the board also helped base this off of like the Jackson building and stuff.
But
So-
this isn't the Jackson building.
No, but it's smaller
It's
than
not.
the Jackson
I
building,
know,
so
but it's prettier.
I 100% agree with that. But I think the first year we just kind of wanted to get our feet wet with,
Okay.
So
with
we've
that.
reached out to several other facilities that are about the same size, such as Jester Park, compared prices with what they're charging. We are 3 Mile Lodge, which is very popular for weddings. We're in that ballpark figure from everything, all the data that we collected with like-minded facilities or like structures. So I know some of the wedding barns and stuff like that probably charge a lot more money than
Yeah.
private places. But
I'm assuming you guys are gonna get deposits and stuff like that.
they'll fill out a contract, yeah, that's approved by our county attorney, so.
You know what, I would suggest, because I have experience in this, getting a really large, like a $3,000 deposit and then take your payment out. They do that, you go to Airbnbs like in Colorado, you have to give them, I think it was $3,000, and they take about 10 days to give it back to make sure.
And that will make sure that the place is taken care of. too.
Yes, because, and then that you can take the rent out of it, but, because if you don't, you might
If
have
this has been such a painful experience to get this thing almost done, I really don't want to be working on repairs, because of a rental?
We are proposing for one of our requirements that we're going to have for wedding rentals is they have to have a building monitor on site. So they have to have a person that's going to be there the whole entire time that they're having the wedding event.
We charge you more if they serve liquor?
Yeah, that's part of the contract.
Building monitor, is that one of our people?
Building monitor will be, and that's one of the things that I'll have to work through the county auditor on. But I would like for that to be, person from our staff or our volunteer pool, and then they would directly pay, because if it comes back through the budget, then it's the whole budget process. So that would be something I'd work through with the county auditor.
Okay.
So just a reimbursable line
Yeah.
throughout the year that, you know,
Right.
Joe
yes.
works this, gets $10 an hour.
Something similar to that.
Okay.
That way, I mean, because when we bring revenue in, then obviously if I'm gonna pay the building monitor, that comes out of my budget. And there's no reimbursable for that, so.
Okay.
So how many people will you hold if you have a wedding? How many could come through?
225 people.
Oh,
is
220, so
capacity
it's
in
small,
the-
okay. Small.
It says two
Five people
fifty.
want to go with.
250 is the big capacity. When you get
I think
everybody in
100
there,
people.
225
They
is
all
reasonable.
Have you all thought about having a different pricing structure for residents versus non-residents?
We've got, so for our rental rates, obviously we've got the regular rental rates, the wedding rental rates, and then at the bottom, as you go down and look through our pricing sheet, Conservation Board partners, so different organizations that have worked with us in the past, our agency, then we offer a special pricing, price point for conservation partners is what we're calling it.
Okay.
If you go outside, like Jess, that idea, sometimes what happens is they'll call their distant cousin in Madison County and they book it for them.
Would their distant cousin be willing to pay a $3,000 deposit though?
Yeah, I don't know. No, well, they'd get it from them, but that's how.
wealthy distant cousins, yeah.
Yeah.
So if like, for instance, NRCS office, we've partnered with them in several different events. If they would like to use the facility, we've used their facility, we would offer them a discounted rate for using our facility.
But they're fed, so charge them. Kidding.
Comes from the same pocket.
I know. And they do share good with you, aren't they?
So, well, I look forward to seeing some nice rental income from when they're finally open.
Are the trees done?
Yes.
They're done.
They're done.
How do they look? I haven't been out there.
I think they look fantastic.
What
The
about
the whole building is looking very, very nice right now.
It is very
I'd like
nice.
for
It
you
is
guys to
beautiful.
come out and take a tour of it and look at it. We
What
just
about
got
the pavement up front? Has that been fixed yet?
That's still going to be an ongoing, it's on the punch list, I'll
Okay.
tell you that. Inside the building, they just got the museum quality exhibits installed, so
Really?
it looks different than when you was up there. So it looks really nice, so look forward to taking you guys out there and giving you a tour, so.
Have you called Remington for more things to put out there?
We've got a list of stuff.
Is he gonna pony up?
There's some local organizations that are gonna donate for stuff.
That's
Steve,
great.
when's the old building gonna be sold?
I had planned on, instructing my staff to have everything moved out of the new building. Well, it depends on that question that we just got to talk about, certificate of occupancy. There's no certificate of occupancy that we can request to go in and start utilizing the building. So my plan is to have that completed by the end of March, and I'd like to have the new building listed in April.
Who's that through? Who's that through?
Who's that?
Certificate of occupancy. Who's that?
That has to be approved by our architect. He issues that.
Oh, the architect.
He's also the project manager.
I just wondered if it was a fire marshal, but it's not, it's a.
The pledge loan comes due in October, so that'll give us some April and October.
Okay. And then our donations continue to come in,
Yeah,
the bridge loan.
Good. Just waiting to finalize the two outstanding grants that we have. Submitted all the final paperwork for those, and they're just holding back until we get final completion on that, so, but they're ready to get issued. We're looking really good as far as our donations. And then remaining will just be the remaining balance will be the selling of the present headquarters building.
Now, the bridge loan that we got for this, wasn't it only 2 years? Or is it 5 years? Just 5 years.
Matures October this year.
It matures October of this year. So then, when you say mature, that means we have to pay it off in full, or are we just gonna re-up it, or what are we gonna do?
Well, we got options in, but we're gonna be really, really close. I mean, the last big hurdle, it will be selling our headquarters building.
Okay.
So once we get that completed, we're,
Do you have any idea what you'll ask for that?
when we very first did this, we had it appraised, local real estate appraiser, and the number that we came out, or used in our financial figures is $160,000.
How many acres are there? 3?
Yeah, there's
160.
How do I get more than that?
like to.
Ask way more. Yeah, why not?
Negotiate down.
Absolutely. Be bold, sometimes it works.
So, do you have any questions for us?
I do not at this present time. Do you guys have any questions for me?
What kind of have you guesstimated on what your revenue might be from the rental of the building? Do you have any idea?
I proposed, every fiscal year I proposed additional revenue from that, and then obviously we hadn't had the building open, so I try and present a budget that's as accurate as possible. So at one point in time, I had a $10,000 increase for shelter rentals, but then I decreased that just because obviously we didn't have the building open, so. I think my number is conservative, so I think we'll be able to far exceed that once we get there.
I think it's
It's a beautiful building, it's gonna be very popular for weddings, it's gonna be very popular for family reunions. And we got different options, you know, we can rent the classroom out, we can rent the boardroom out, we can rent out the large room, so, I think it'll be very popular, you know, it's gonna be a great addition to Madison County, so.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for
Thank
chatting.
you, Steve.
Thanks.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you.
If Brady's out there, will you guys send him in?
I'm Jess Hans.
Curtis Parker.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You're up, Brady. They said you're up.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Hi, Brady. How are you?
How we doing?
Oh, does she? Here's revenue for Brady. Thank you, thank you. It's okay, we got it.
Just, just take that right now.
Yeah, no problem.
How are you, Brady?
Good.
Oh, I did, yeah. I only had one.
Yeah, Terry gave it to us, so we'll wait for Jess and get questions. We're right on time, right?
I have like a giant stack of stuff.
His probably won't go there. His will be quick.
How you doing, Brady?
Good.
So we got you a revenue sheet for,
Thank you, Brady.
Should we start, Brady? What are you asking for sellers?
I'm sorry?
We're gonna start right at the top.
Yeah.
So, I did, on mine, I did the 2.5, or whatever that email said, which brings it, from 87,768 to 89,962.20. The next line down is probably not gonna change a lot, because that's the full-time wages, I believe. And they'll have a minor increase with like longevity raise and their years of service raise, but they won't get their wages are froze as far as they'll get their step raise, but they won't get their annual raise.
Okay.
Your
That's
union
because-
guys.
Yeah, the union
Yeah, they're,
guys.
they're.
Right, yep, cause that was negotiated in the contract, that's how the contract works.
Okay.
Do you have a breakdown of those you can send me?
Yeah, I think of what everybody makes,
What
yeah.
everybody will make?
Yep, I've got a
Cause
list.
is it run with, it doesn't run with their anniversary or anything? right?
Yes,
Their stuff runs with their
Jason's,
anniversary?
yeah, Jason's, I think, is the only one that, because when things switched, when I was the line guy, Jason and myself were the only two that were line guys then, and everybody went to January 1st
Okay.
before a certain date, and then they went to their anniversary date, and I don't know why that was, but that's been a lot of years ago.
Okay.
So I'm not sure why that was done that way, but, so of course, the FICA and the IPERS, I'm not sure how that's all figured
Yeah,
out.
calculating.
So that's,
So, custodial supplies.
yep, so on 332, or 232 custodial supplies, I'm asking for a $500 increase from 2,500 to 3,000.
How come?
Cause we're just using more stuff, more people there more often, just using more stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think we need a lot more stuff, cause I don't wanna stockpile anything, but, the next one, the 250-36, it was at 27, I think we can drop that to 22, I think I can drop that 5,000.
Your fuel? You can
Yeah,
drop that?
because I've averaged it out the last 2 years, and we're hitting that 2018, so we're actually, and we had more runs last year than we did the year before.
But you're all diesel, hasn't
Yep.
diesel increased?
Not a lot, I don't,
Okay.
I mean, that's, I think that will,
It's very up and down.
yeah, it is, but I think it averages out to where I think we'll be okay.
Is it-
I know we put it up last year because we weren't sure, because everything was going skyrocketing. So we put it up, but that I think I can drop back down,
To 22,
yeah.
okay.
Um,
Looks like you're over under office supplies.
yeah, we had, printer ink and a bunch of, so, yeah, I'd like to raise that, I'd like to raise that to 55 if I could, cause all that stuff just is expensive.
And you have to print it out, don't you?
Yeah, we have
you
to
have
print hard copies of our reports,
Yeah.
so we have to print, and then I have to keep them for 7 years.
If I remember correctly, when you went out to that new place, the previous director went overload on office supplies, so you
Yeah.
were good for a while.
Yeah, we didn't need to
That's
buy
true.
any
You
for a
haven't
couple
bought
years,
any
and
for
now
a
we're
couple
starting
years.
to catch back up.
I'd like to
So
see.
this is probably gonna be a more realistic number going
55
forward.
should be pretty close, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And like I said, and it might fluctuate, it might actually go down next year once I'm trying to get back to an actual even flow of what we got.
I took them and put a really cool white
Um,
on them.
the 291 for medical supplies, I think that's good.
30?
Stay at 30.
Yeah, I think that will be fine, I'm pretty sure we can stay under 30.
The medical line, you
Yeah.
have body bags through, sorry, that's just in my
Yeah,
head.
oh,
You
and
brought
that's-
that up. Do
yep.
we-
My bad,
No, that's okay, I just, while, you were talking about medical supplies.
yeah.
Do you think your body bag,
Because that comes out of, the, death investigators line. That's their money
yeah.
that you guys give to VME.
So is
Is
it
that the medical
oh,
examiner?
Medical
So
examiner.
it's 28 departments.
We order them, we order them, I get billed, I submit a claim, but I put their number on it so that it comes out of their stuff. So that's not really mine, but yeah. So, and that should,
right now, under medical and lab supplies, is that what you're talking about, Emily?
Yes.
$1,400?
Yeah, that should be, because I think we just ordered, excuse me, I think we just ordered 10 of them, and I think, it was just over $700 for 10 of them. That's normally good for a while. This year's been exceptionally bad for that. We've had, since Christmas, I think we've had 12 that we've needed. But
So we up that? for-
that's,
So where are you under medical equipment?
No, I'm sorry, I skipped to Department 28 real quick,
Medical examiner,
just because
because she wanted to ask. you
yeah,
a question
oh,
about
I
body
get
bags.
stuff like this.
flip through, it's,
In your
Yeah.
packet, it's a different
Oh,
packet.
yes, I'm sorry, I switched
Oh, yeah.
departments because I wanted to
I
have
don't
spring.
Oh, okay, you went down to the.
Yeah,
ME.
But the medical and
To
lab
the ME,
supplies
alright.
is sitting at $12,245 now, cost to date, right? I mean, if we're fairly confident.
For his.
For
Yeah,
your
and
budget
we've
line
actually
item.
got probably roughly 3,000 that hasn't been billed yet for us, that, from Boundtree. So it's probably close to 15 year to date.
So, okay.
So what do you do in the medical lab? What do we do it to?
The medical can stay 30 on my side.
Okay,
All right.
But
Yeah, that's-
on the medical examiner,
You probably ought to raise that,
jump that for the body.
at
bag.
least, it was, what is it, 14?
14 now, we've spent about $1,000 out of it, you bought body bags.
Just here, not,
It was October, we
Oh.
spent, yeah, it was October of '24, we spent $700.
yep, and that was 10 of them, so I'll bet they've only got a couple left.
Okay,
So we're gonna need it. She usually tells me when she has like 2 left,
okay.
and then I order more, so I'll have another $700 order coming in pretty
So
quick.
you're 14, you need to
should
go,
we probably increase theirs to 2,000?
And that should cover that, I mean, that should be more than plenty, I would have to think.
We also paid one of the medical examiners a training out of that line too,
Oh, okay,
and that was just $200.
Okay.
should you go 25?
But,
By looking, because you had-
do body bags expire, how about that?
they don't.
Okay,
Right now, so we bought some in the past that we've used, and we've got some for like, let's say for a mass casualty. We bought some so that they could use them. You put the body in it, you go to pick it up, the handles rip off, or because we tried to save money.
Yeah.
And so now we've got, I think we have 10 or 12 that would be great for a mass casualty if something bad happens, because they never expire.
okay.
But the good ones for actually moving, and those are 70-something a piece. And we buy them by the box of 10 when we buy them.
So you bet, how about 24 or 5?
25 would probably be okay if we gotta pay training out of that too.
I don't know how often she has to do that training, that's the first time I recall us having to pay for that.
Sure.
Um,
And I know, oh goodness. Dummermuth is Polk County's medical examiner. He also covers part of Madison County now. And I think that's like a 28E, I think, with them. If they don't have somebody, he'll come down. Cause he's been on the last, I think, 3 that we've had. So, and I don't know if I haven't received an invoice, I haven't talked to him about him invoicing, he hasn't said anything about it. So I don't know if Polk County covers that, or how that works,
I
to be
thought it
honest.
was the county, like, it's the county that they reside in's responsibility.
Sure,
So if he's coming down for,
but, yeah, I don't know,
usually, like, even when I get something and it's not, somebody not in our county, but we addressed it,
yeah,
then I have to go to that county residency and say, hey, Polk County, you owe us $2,000 now for this, so I have to invoice that county.
okay,
So we still have to pay them,
all right.
full
Next time I talk to Jeff, Jeff Dummermuth, next time I talk to Jeff, I'll ask how that works with it on his end, if he's gonna bill us or something.
So Emily, regarding the medical examiner, do they just hand us their budget and say, here you go? Or can we have input on that? So if we're talking about body bags, can we increase what they ask?
So no one that comes as a representative for them to talk about that, so, you know, as you look through your budget 28, that very last line, that medical and health services, that's where we're paying all those medical exams out of, like, when the tornado came through, that's when we had to raise
Right.
that line and stuff like that, and I think Iowa code just says, you know, if, this is the county of residency's responsibility to pay for that, so I don't think you have wiggle room with that line, or.
So we could bump up the medical and lab supplies too. for them to
Yes,
Purchase.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And I do think if you just put $2,000 in there, increase it by 6, I think you're probably okay.
Yeah, I think so.
You know,
So-
if you bought 10 bags in November and we make sure to deplete that before the end
Yeah.
of this fiscal year.
Oh, for sure, I'll buy another, yeah, I'll make sure, cause I'm sure we're gonna, I'm honestly surprised with going through auditing, cause I audit all the runs that we do, and I'm surprised she hasn't called and said, but I know, like I said, I know Jeff came down with the last 3, and he's got his own, so I don't,
Okay.
So on the medical examiner side, under medical and lab supplies, you wanna raise that to 25 or
Just, I think
2,000.
2,000.
2,000?
Yeah. Because right now you have $490 in there,
okay.
so I don't know if you can buy 5 boxes then.
Yeah, we can, you can buy singles, but
Okay.
it's just a little
Who
bit
is
cheaper
our-
if you buy a
who's our-
box.
and
It's Sherry Young and, Dr. Kimball.
And they did raise their rate 1 year, but they haven't, because I don't remember what happened exactly, but they came to us, or sent an email and just said, hey, we'd like this increase, so I think we pay the primary person who goes out $225 for that, and then mileage, and then the secondary $125. And I don't know what qualifies for it, but sometimes both of them view the situation, sometimes only one of them does. I don't know why.
So based on these numbers though, since we're on the medical examiner, we might as well just finish the 4 line items. It looks like to me, they are, with the exception of transportation, non-sheriff, they seem to be in line with this year's budget.
Yeah.
So we'll keep them 7,300
And just increase the
Body
body
bag,
bag line.
Okay. All right, so back to yours,
All
Greg,
right,
sorry.
no problem at all.
Thank you.
Next is 294, which is apparel.
Mhm.
So that 7,000 is figured up, we actually went through and figured out if each part-time person gets, because the way, we have to give them, of course, a sweatshirt, a shirt, or 2 shirts and a pair of pants every year. We went through and figured it out, and that's what it breaks down to. Full-timers get 600 because they get more, as far as apparel, in the contract, and then the part-timers get the minimum, they get 250, and that's what it comes out to for all my employees, is 7,000. Some people, like myself, I don't use all of mine, but most of the other ones, and some of them do, some of them don't. I mean, some of them go over, and we've got it set up through an account that it's an online store. So they can go pick if they need, they know they need boots, they can go order them, and if they're, and it tracks it for them, if they've got 250 and they've spent, and they only have 150 left and they need to spend $180, it'll pend, the order will be pending until they put their credit card in, and then it'll take the rest of the money plus deplete that account. And then I get the invoice so that way it's all tracked. And so that's figured up for everybody. That's the exact number of what it would cost if everybody spent every dime of it.
7,000.
Which luckily nobody, I mean, some of them have, some of them gone over, some people haven't hardly spent anything. Some people that work in some different departments wear their boots, their pants, they like them better, you know, they're still blue EMS pants, they don't really,
When
go
you,
ahead, wear
if
them.
you buy pants and they have to be hemmed, do you have to pay for that?
Yes.
And that's really expensive?
You know, I don't know, I'm sure it is, it can't be very cheap.
I will.
Okay, I'll let them know that next time that, because I know the biggest thing we had was Cheyenne getting her new pregnancy pants, pregnancy EMS pants, that was a new one. I never had to do that before, and those aren't cheap, but.
So.
But she's about.
Postage and mailing, kind of just keep the
Yeah,
same.
$100 is fine. I bought
Mileage and travel looks kind of,
200 is fine, because I got the car, so most of the times, I did have to take my truck up and do a couple things in Des Moines, because I had to go get a part for one of the heaters, in the ambulance bay. So, but otherwise, that's, I think it'll be down to like I don't know, $100 and some or something like that now.
Travel, or
Yeah, 200 is fine for that, because we almost never
the
use that.
postage was 100 still.
Yeah,
so telephone service, looks like you're on track with that.
yeah, that's a pretty constant given number. So as soon as Omnitel comes in, boy, they've already come in and met with me. That
Same.
price is
Yep.
almost half of what we're paying right
Yep.
now. for
And you'll have way better
Oh.
service.
Oh, yes.
our internet was out, phones were out this morning when I got there. It
Yesterday.
Took half a day.
So was secondary
Yeah.
roads.
And the day
Yeah.
before. Yeah, because we have to call them every time to make sure we get a credit. Because if you don't call them, you don't get a credit.
Oh, nice.
Just so you know. Yeah, it's like 20 bucks, 24 bucks
All right.
a
I'll
pop.
do that.
Yeah.
Cause I just go in and, when I see it, I go in and reset everything, and we've only actually had to have them come down twice, but usually it resets, but, yeah,
So you're gonna leave that telephone at 8, yeah, you'll have to.
Yeah,
check
'cause
it on
that's-
the
We'll have to, we'll have to find out from Jen what the contract is on that.
Yeah, I don't think we have a contract, but
Well,
I'll,
they had to pull fiber, so we might have had to sign a contract on that,
oh, for,
Mediacom.
oh, really? Okay.
Because remember the conduit they put in?
Yeah, but we don't have fiber in our building. They just have a cord running around the outside and then up through it's a mess.
So we'll have to get to your building somewhere.
Yeah, it comes in, through one of the conduits, but right now, the internet comes through the front, pole 90.
Oh, I know, they just got me. It's a drop cable.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, okay.
the 420, which is the auditing and clerical, so 40,000, which I'm,
Looks like
over.
you're on track to go over.
Yeah, and that was because of, I think because of end of budget year last year, didn't get paid.
That's your
Because-
PCC, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay, that's all those issues.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then the one below it is the GEMT payments, which are they range so much because it's all on how many calls we have. So it ranges from like, one month I had it was $1,800 and one month was $4,000. And I'm like, what? But so far, I've got 1 month because I thought I had it and I forgot to print it, but.
So
For
what
the
do you
month-
think? What do you think is gonna be a good?
Well,
number?
I think 25,000 is still gonna be okay. I don't think that's gonna be a bad number, the way everything averages out.
What do you wanna do with that 64?
The accounting one.
Yeah, what do you wanna do with that?
Oh, 60, I think 40 would probably,
You're already over 40 though.
Yeah, you can't,
Can I ask you a question? Are you up to, how close are you as to being up to date on the PCC stuff? Like, where are
I've got October's bill, I think was, maybe November's bill, the last one I sent you.
Okay.
So the reason I'm so much over is there was 3 or 4 months that come out, boom, right now out of this.
so what if you go to 45? Is that?
But
Yeah.
in previous
You've already
years,
used.
you were under 40, but you had that 1 year,
Yeah,
fiscal year 22, where you
right,
were
it's
56.
56, 39, 32, 23. It's all on how many, it's all on how many calls we actually run and, but like the GEM, so that one, let's stay on that one. So I don't know that 40 is not gonna be an okay number. Like I said, it all depends on the number of calls that they bill for us.
Yeah, but you've spent, well,
So
It's-
in January, you paid in January, you paid October's PCC billing.
Okay, so we still have November, December, January, all right, we probably know. Hey, good call, that's why I have you guys, So those are roughly, how much was that one for
That
October?
was $6,100.95.
But usually they're not that high.
What do you think?
No, but the thing I have, like, I'm worried about now is, okay,
55.
so you're paying October's now, so come
Well-
July, you're gonna be paying, what,
March is-
February, March, so it's, until,
Everything gets right, fixed,
Yeah.
okay.
Say it,
I'm glad you understood.
So, how about 55?
Let's try, yeah, we can go with that.
Okay.
That's probably a better number than what I have.
I will say, your previous month was $2,276, but then the month before that was $11,000, so it,
It jumps around a lot.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sure does.
So in the GMT, you think we should stay at 25,000?
Yeah, cause it averages 2,000 roughly a month.
Okay.
And so like October, we brought in from that GMT, which is that Medicare reimbursement that we pay a little bit and they pay the most. We recouped, if I'm reading their graph right here, $11,806.73, which breaks down about right for the 109,000 for the year that they expected us roughly to make. And again, that all goes off of how many Medicaid calls we go on, so, but for October, it was pretty good.
yeah, it looks like with that bill, the highest that you've paid this year was $2,600.
Yeah, like I said, most of the time it's right around that $2,000 mark.
I mean, it looks like you're always a little over, but yes, you're not hitting 3 and you're not under 2.
Right.
Okay, what's your accounting audit? You have nothing, do you want to leave that 0?
Yeah, cause that is kind of what the 55 is, right?
No, this is the MGADC.
MGADC.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We left that at 55.
Yeah, because that's done now.
That's done.
That was a
So
one-time,
We can actually remove that line item.
we should be able to, yes. That was a one-time data collection entry.
Okay.
Should we
Nightmare.
remove Emily, or can you leave it?
You know, I don't know what the rule, if there's any rules on removing those lines based on like year usage. I don't know if the line has to be stagnant for 2 years or something like that.
yeah.
I'm just not sure on that one, so
Okay.
I'll write a note to remove the line and just,
Find out.
Double check.
So it's 0. Education and training, nothing?
I have 5,000.
No, you want that, okay. Is that enough?
Yeah, so we switched.
Is that
up.
your CEUs?
Yes.
Okay.
We switched companies that were doing it. It was costing us $152 a person, and now it's costing us like $48 to $52 a person. So, but then we've got,
Oh, that's way cheap.
yeah, it's way cheaper. And that gets us all our CEUs as far as the recertification. But then we still have to have ACLS, PALS, PHTLS, and those are all extra. Those are kind of pricey courses. But yeah, this should take care of all of that.
Natural gas, you have 6,000?
I dropped that to 3.
Okay.
Because once we fixed a couple leaks, we had a pile of damn leaks. We're not using very much gas.
Light and power, 8.
8, yeah, it's probably, our light bill's expensive. That's a
Well,
lot
turn
of
your
lights.
lights off when you're not in the room.
Well, a lot of them are motion sensor lights,
Yeah,
so
so
they
you
go
walk
off.
in, okay.
Yeah, they go off automatically, but
That
it's-
is expensive.
it,
seems.
yeah, my last Mid-American, how much was my last Mid-American Energy?
Yeah, but you plug in all your ambulances.
Oh, everything.
yeah.
So is
Okay.
8,000 enough?
Yeah, I think so. Because what have I spent year to date?
41.
Yeah, so it'll be right there.
Water and sewer, 3,000.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
good, I believe we're good on that.
So motor vehicle repair, 25,000.
Yeah, we're gonna,
Keep that.
well, I'd like to up that, but I don't, because you just never know if something bad's gonna happen, but we can leave it at 25.
You sure?
Yeah, because we're getting, like I said, we're getting that new cot installed, so then we'll be able to run the 3 trucks instead of just 2. The one's supposed to be getting remounted here whenever the chassis comes in. Who knows when that's gonna be. But, so I think that's gonna solve, that, the truck that's getting remounted is the problem child. So it's the one that costs us the most on repairs, and we've had a pile of repairs. 207.
thanks.
25 should be fine.
Buildings repair and maintenance,
I would
are you
like-
over?
Yeah, so,
It's a brand new building, what are you fixing?
well, where do we start? So luckily, the sewer was covered.
Yeah. And
Then
those
we
bills
had-
are all paid, right?
Yes, yep, I emailed him again.
You got
and-
confirmation they're all paid?
Yep,
Okay.
he said he paid them, because I sent him, I got the invoice finally from Wigger, because I didn't wanna pay off the statement.
Yeah.
So I got an invoice. Finally, once Wigger sent it to me, I sent it to him, and he goes, we already paid this last week. I said, okay, that's
Okay.
everything.
Good.
But, so we've had the, just normal maintenance stuff, little stuff here and there, but we've had to replace the inducer motor on the water heater, which was $1,800. We had to replace all 3 gas valves in all 3 of the furnaces, which I talked with Jess about that, because they were leaking by.
And that's not covered by warranty,
1-year warranty because we're a commercial building.
even with the manufacturer?
That's what they told me. So,
Okay.
and then we've had, I fixed the heater, the tube heater in the garage. I fixed that, because I try not to do, because I don't want people saying, oh, you're double dipping. All I said was the price for the part and my mileage, that was it. It was just the circuit board went bad, I changed the circuit board. Had to have them move gas lines, because they were leaking in that furnace room, and we couldn't get filters in when they first did it. So they moved the gas line, and just random, just stuff. I mean, the hot seat, something breaks on the hot seat, the line explodes.
That was a pain, that whole hot seat is just a pain.
God.
It was
And
a
the upkeep,
headache.
I mean, it's not horrible upkeep, but every time they come, they're like, oh, this is leaking, so we need a new gasket here, or this is leaking, we need a.
Who uses your car wash? Cops?
The county deputies and the ambulances.
Okay.
Should we increase the maintenance?
I put it up to 7, well, I'm not sure what
Well,
it's
you're at 9,500 right now.
Ooh, all right, maybe
So
we
you
ought
better go, how about 11?
okay,
11?
I didn't know I was that high, sure. We'll do 11.
You
Okay.
might need to make notes for a budget
You
amendment. Bud.
might.
I did, I thought I had it all written down, but I must have missed that one somewhere.
How about your buildings, repair, maintenance, fire alarm inspection, you have 25.
Yeah, yep, that should be fine, because they do that once a year, and that's with both companies. They come, they test 3 things. Every year they have to test they have to check the fire, or they check the sprinklers and the fire extinguishers. Another crew comes and checks.
And you have to do that by law.
Yeah. Comes and does the fire alarm, and then somebody else comes and does the hood over the stove and does the monitoring check and stuff like that. It's a racket. It's all the same company, just different vehicles.
So the alarm monitoring the security system, is that 600, is that good?
Yes, that's for, per line,
Okay.
per line.
How
And
about
then
radio?
Yeah,
That's good.
the radio, because you have, this year's budget's for 6, you spent 16, a little over 16.
Yeah, we can drop that to, well,
Do you need
so
to
the-
replace any radios?
yeah, that's the bad thing, is I need new batteries, and the batteries
And that was
are-
$200 a pop, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Should we leave it at 6?
Yeah, because I just talked to John, and he hasn't gotten back to me, I forgot all about that. And our paging system that he just installed didn't work the other day, so he come back and fixed that, so it's working.
Okay.
So that should be
Okay,
it.
so we'll leave it at 6.
Dues and memberships, 72.
We dropped that to 4. That was, the 72 was because we had to pay Image Trend, who's our report writing system, to connect to all the hospitals. So that, because by law, by state code, we have to run reports to the hospitals within 24 hours of a call that we take a patient to. So there's a system set up through the state where they can just go in and grab them and pull them out if they need them. So then we're compliant with the state. And so that was why that was so high the year before.
Medical refunds, you have 8,000. Is that a pad, is that a wash?
That's money we get that we have to pay back.
Okay.
So it's a.
So they pay us over, we have to pay them
Pay
back.
it back.
So
Yeah,
leave it
so-
at 8.
Yeah, because it again fluctuates tremendously.
So last year we had the new ambulance,
Yep, yep.
so
and
we don't
it's-
need it on this one.
Nope,
So we can
Well-
take, well, this is zero then.
yeah.
Yeah, because we already.
So
put it-
I did price just for, because we're eventually gonna need a new 2.0, the 2012, which is the oldest truck that we're not.
What do you have so much trouble with?
Nope, the 2018 is the one that's paid in the ass.
Yep.
But, so, I checked with, our supplier, and last year, it was, when we purchased this remount, it was $368,000 for the new ambulance, like what we have. It's now, $398,000. But I did price the smaller, a little bit smaller version, which would work for us for the transports, like, and it's the company that I checked with, it's like I think it was like 280 roughly. So brand new, real nice, but it's the van chassis, not the truck chassis. But it would be great for transports where we go from here to Iowa City, here to Sioux City, stuff like that, so. But that's a future,
Future,
Future
so right
endeavor.
now,
Right
that
now
line
we're-
item is zero.
right now we're good.
Medical equipment, 25.
Yeah, we have, so, we've got a couple of, we're gonna need to get some new suctions and probably a vent. We've got the vents through the state that were free for us to use, except they're big. They're so big that it's hard to get them, keep them in the ambulance, and, then when we wanna call, they make really nice ones that are a lot smaller than that. And then if our monitors are getting old, or a couple of our monitors are getting old, and they're $30,000 a piece, but we don't need one right now, but this might go up so we've got 2 more years on service contract, I
But you've
believe.
used very little, what do you need? 25.
I have to replace, our 3 suction devices.
So you need 20.
Yeah, I have to replace our 3 portable suctions. Portable suction devices, because were there when I started. And then that vent, we need a new, smaller vent, or 2 of them actually for the 2 first out trucks.
So the 25.
So do we need to leave the 25,000?
25 would be great, yeah, I think I can get everything under that, I believe.
Ambulance.
Medical equipment, you had nothing this year, nothing, this was this was out of the rural basic fund.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah, I'm not
you
sure what
got
that
it.
one
Okay, so ambulance cot. We have it on expenditure here because it was paid by a grant.
is. Yes,
Well, now it's in limbo.
so I called him today and told him, don't order that cot, return that cot. So, the ambulance, so the cot and lift system, we're still purchasing 4205. The other cot that we had, because we had the extra money, I told him to return that, so
Just in
that,
case we have to pay that.
just in
back.
case we have to pay that grant back, and we can get that at a later date. It's not because it was specified for a cot or a lift system, that's why
And if
we
we
got the
don't have to
cot.
pay it back, if they
I
give
can still,
grace,
I can still get the
because
cot,
according to Congressman Dunn's office, that system is still frozen.
okay,
So, because they're still kind of figuring out FEMA, the
Sure.
whole EO and the court system and all that kind of
I
stuff, so
think
it's still.
FEMA was defunded. Did he
He-
put them all on administrative leave?
He,
Sissy put on
he
administrative
froze
leave.
well, then I
all
got
grants, and that caused
Like I
to
said,
where you
like I
couldn't.
said, I got an email from somebody, or from FEMA Go that says that was repealed, or
It
was
was
in
repealed.
by a judge or something, I don't know.
Yeah, it was, but when Congressman Dunn's office contacted them, they said they have not unfrozen the system, so I
Okay.
can,
So
can
leave
follow
it
up
at
with them.
70?
But,
Well, the reason why we're talking about this is that if we end up having to pay it back, then we have to have it in our budget.
Yeah.
So do we wanna leave
And
it,
it's-
do we
and
keep it in there?
Leave it,
how much was it,
It
70?
was 70.
because you're gonna seal
Well, the grant was only-
this year or next, I mean, it should be taken care of this year no matter what.
I don't know, but, like I said, because I got that email January 1st, and that was the first I had heard of that we needed to do a report, because I went back through all my paperwork even from them, and it says budget, or not budget, I'm sorry, grant period is this date to June 23rd of '26. So I, like the Prairie Meadows grant, all the other grants I have, and you don't have to do anything until the end date, and it's, because they want pictures and they want, once everything's done.
Well,
But
once
this
they
is, I guess,
unfreeze it, we can transfer
Sure,
Shelley's credentials to her,
yep,
but we can't do anything until we unfreeze.
right, so, yeah, so
So-
that's kinda on them.
I'm hoping that they give everyone grace, because if that's the case, no one else can file reports too. It's
Right.
not just us. So if they extend it, then we're okay, and then if they do extend it, then you can still
Yeah.
order that clock
Yeah,
again?
yeah, we can order it
Okay.
again, they've got, yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
Let's go to your revenue side, please.
Okay, let's do that.
So we're leaving that at 70?
Yeah, we-
Well, to your point, Emily, if we will get this fixed within the fiscal year, then we'll probably be okay, wouldn't we?
Yes, I would think you'd be able to take it out of there. I mean, if you can get this resolved in 2 months, or a month, or whatever,
You
something.
think we should take it out now?
Why don't we just put a question mark by that one, and if we get down to the nitty gritty, and we're like, wow, $70,000 would really fix all our problems. Yeah, so we'll just.
Take it
Take
out.
her out.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry about your luck.
We'll cut it out.
All right.
County
So
events.
revenue. So you guys are going to county events, how is that going?
Good, good, we had, oh, I left it at the garage. So I know we did,
Will you do the fair?
we do the fair we don't charge for.
Did you do RAGBRAI, or?
The extra event at the fair we did charge for, the extra rodeo. So we did that, we did football games, we did RAGBRAI, we did, Wild Boar Challenge.
You guys don't do any stuff with, Hinterland, do you?
Not so, no.
Okay.
This year, possibly, I'm working, so Joe Shirada's company, Hawkeye Medical, is now gonna be in charge. They're moving to Warren County. But the camping and stuff like that's gonna be in Madison County. He's working on something, we might actually, they might actually pay our special event fee to take a truck over there for 12 hours
Awesome.
and stage in St. Charles so that we've got a truck. So I can get a third crew staffed for that, and, which is $175 an hour for
Is $49.50 okay, I'll leave it? You think you'll get more revenue?
that's probably,
Right now, all you have in there is your RAGBRAI. That's only the 2,100, that's all I see is RAGBRAI.
okay.
So we wanna just do like
Well, so
3 or
with-
4?
Well, with
Well,
I-
wait a minute, does that mean we don't have revenues from the schools for football games and for the other?
So when I
only
send
thing
an
in there is
invoice
RAGBRAI?
out, the way the attorney made it up, it says send payment to Madison County Treasurer. So I don't see the payments.
Okay.
So how do we?
But some of them do come to me, and that's how I give them to you guys to, because I don't know what line you put them on. But,
I just ran a report for that line right
Yeah,
now,
I
and
can-
everything in there is.
I'll get with you tomorrow, I'll pull up, because I've got the invoices that I've sent out.
Yeah, I mean, if they went to a different
Yeah.
line,
Well, so like I said, they say in the contract and on the invoice, it says send payment to Madison County Treasurer.
and maybe it's in this other line. too.
Yeah, maybe it got put somewhere else.
Well, cause, I mean, if that's a county event, and then there's the line below it, which is still ambulance services, right? Is that a
Right.
different bubble, or is that?
Well, there's 600 in that one now, and year-to-date is 2 or 3.
Right, so I wonder if some of that is going in
Is
that
in
one
there.
instead, and what's the difference between the two lines?
That makes sense. So we're gonna check on
Check on that. So ambulance services, what is that?
always bearing.
I think that's gotta be just a special events.
The 600,000?
Oh, I'm sorry, sure. My bad.
That's just all your services.
That's
just
what we get from the billing
For
company,
the billing, okay,
roughly.
okay.
And that should be, up, well, I guess, again, that's all call volume related. Where is that?
So you should probably be getting more than 600,000, if you're already at 203 and 34% of the year, probably have more than that, right?
And, I mean, yeah, and, cause we should have added 100,000 roughly for that GEMT offset, which some of that's ours, but.
Well, there's a
that's-
separate line for that, there's
Yeah, so-
79,000 for that. And the donations and private grants, there's 70,000 for that.
Do you think you could go 625 on that? You think you could
On the
guess?
ambulance services?
As long as a lot of people get hurt. we can do it.
Well,
I mean, we wanna be conservative on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't,
let's leave it at 6.
Yeah, because if he's sitting at 203, then what are we,
Let's leave it.
we're almost we're over halfway through, so even if we doubled that,
Well, how?
it wouldn't
up
be
to date is-
600,000, right?
but,
No, it's
so,
only
in-
34% through.
Well, as far as the projected, but I'm saying we're halfway through our fiscal year, and if the costs are real, then he's at,
Well, we're halfway through our fiscal year, but we're not halfway through the month-end stuff. So they're, right now, they're only 34% through
completed.
completed.
I mean,
So-
I'm looking in that line right now, and I only see stuff up to the end of July.
Oh, no.
Okay.
But I don't know when things came in, blah, blah, blah,
Sure.
you know
I
what I mean?
think that was a really good idea
All
to
of
look
that.
at the invoices.
So I can't, so
Yeah.
potentially,
That's a great
there
idea.
is.
to reconcile what you have with.
Well, that's for the special event stuff. For the actual ambulance billing stuff, I can get a report from PCC.
So let's leave
Okay.
it and check on it.
And yeah, I can get a report
Yeah.
from PCC on what's been,
Okay. And the GEMT, MCO payments, we show 79. But nothing coming in.
so that, when that comes in, when the GEMT money comes in, it comes in with add-ons to our, just our payments. Like PCC deposits this much money, and it's just an add-on to any Medicaid call, it's automatically added on.
Okay,
So we don't get an actual separate,
so we don't know what that,
so that's what that report they sent me, that
ah,
the 11,000
okay,
something for October
okay.
is that.
So are we leaving it?
I
So
could,
we leave it for
Or do
79
you wanna
for
check?
this coming?
Yeah, because that should be, this year that should be right, because we're so far behind, because billing is so far behind, and not, I mean, not the county, just everything billing, by the time we get it, it's, we're still working probably on our first, we're just now getting, we're in the process of getting our first years with the GEMT payments.
Okay,
And then next year we'll get last year's GEMT payments, and we're always behind.
okay, so we'll just leave it then?
Yeah, that's fine
Okay.
for now, and then we'll,
And donations and private grants, we budgeted 70,000 for this year, we've gotten 10, is that right?
is what it says. Well, we got, so with all the grants that I received,
Is this the grant for the FEMA grant?
probably, yeah.
Okay.
So that's
that
the,
makes
like, the
sense.
Prairie
Oh,
Meadows,
so
the
that's-
FEMA, the Prairie Meadows, the FEMA, the Shellberg, that would have been last fiscal year, Shellberg. Yeah, I think the FEMA grant would have been this year. That's
That would
only,
be 70.
This was the
Yeah.
Prairie Meadows grant.
the ten, yeah,
And
the
then
Prairie
last
Meadows
is Prairie
grant.
Meadows grant.
So, yeah, cause it wasn't, cause the other ones were awarded before the end of the fiscal year. That one wasn't awarded until after January first.
The FEMA one was?
No, the FEMA one was, yes, it was awarded August 7th, 1st, I gotta be.
Okay.
Is 70 a good number?
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
that matches the expenditure for the cost.
69 something sounds really great, cause it's 10,000 and 59,800 and some dollars, and we don't gotta pay that back, that's a great number. But,
Right. And then the last one is the miscellaneous.
Did we
refunds.
leave that at 70?
Well, we have to leave, I think we have to leave it at 70 if we're gonna,
I think we do. All right, so let's go down here, yeah, you're right.
and
Go
then
ahead.
miscellaneous refunds, you have 3,380 is for this fiscal year.
that's what we paid back this year.
So you wanna read that, or is that
No,
what
is
we're
that-
done?
I don't have, I'm just to cut something off, because I don't have that. Miscellaneous refunds. I'm not sure what that is.
HRSA overpayment refund.
Right there, I don't know what
Health Resources and Services Administration.
that.
Okay, so it looks like something Shelley did, there's a refund, whole thing with it. Was somebody's stuff paid out the wrong line or something?
Or did we have a bad debt that they came through with it? You know what I'm saying, when we wrote something off and maybe the
Yeah,
money came in afterwards?
I mean, it's just such a specific amount, I can't believe there's not some reason for that exact,
Sure.
yeah.
So we got a refund for something, but I don't know what it would be for.
Well, HRSA is a federal agency that says they provide healthcare and other services to vulnerable populations and supports health infrastructure and workforce.
I wonder if
Is
this
this
was,
a grant you applied for maybe?
No, I didn't apply for anything like that.
do you think it was something you wrote off and it came back?
That's what I just said.
Yeah, it might, it almost has to be, because I don't know. Yeah, that I don't know what that would be for.
You sure that you can track that then?
I'm looking at all I can.
Because I can go into my resolutions and start adding up, but that would be a real crapshoot.
We'll check
I
on
mean, I can
this.
show you, hold up, and you can tell me if. She would have had something to do that.
Well, even where it might be on a budget amendment.
No. Line 3, let me do some checking on that.
Ditto.
Okay.
So I wrote check on radio.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Do you have anything else?
Well, the only other thing I have is possibly increasing my part-timers' wages.
What do you want?
Well, so we don't have any part-time paramedics now. They've all pretty much left. Two of them are still on the roster, but they're dumping shifts because they got other jobs. Making way more money. I'd like to go to, for paramedics, I'd like to go to $20 an hour. EMTAs, I'd like to go to 18, and EMTs, I'd like to go to 16.
You were about $2 lower than about anybody, right? For the
Oh, yeah.
comparison,
Yeah, so
So 16 for EMTs, 20 for paramedics, and what was the other?
18 for EMTAs, and we don't have any EMTAs right now. But, so if I figure up, so that's gonna be a total of, not a total, I don't know the FICA stuff on top of that, but, so from what it is now, what I have to budget for now is, 315, 360. To change it to $20 an hour for everybody, which is, like, this is the high number, of course, is 350, 400, so it's $35,040 of an increase, and that's if a paramedic works every shift.
So it's 354, but you said part-time's 20, EMT 16, and EMT's 18, so that math.
So you're saying that if we do these increases on the part-timers, it'll increase the budget by roughly $35,000?
$35,040.
So you're,
Without FICA and
Without
diapers and all that
so
stuff.
you went from the 315, 360 to 354,
Yeah, to
Okay.
350, 400.
and then we'll have to add in all this.
Yeah, cause I'm not, like I said, there's 58 active EMS people live in the county, and only 11 of them work for us. and now 2 more of them are not working for us.
Mhm.
And if I have anybody gone, I don't have a paramedic to even fill the shift.
So what Clark's offering him 28 to start.
Yeah. So it's, and I know we can't, you know, compare ourselves to this, but what I can compare it to is they can drive 20 minutes and work there, because that's what they're doing.
I know.
And if I don't get the money, if I don't get the pay up, I can't get people to apply. And then and a lot of them won't apply because they just laugh at it.
Do we, well, we can discuss this, but
Yeah,
is that in your budget now with that increase?
No,
It's not?
no, because you guys left it the same, so I just wanted to bring this up. We can put it in there, we can add another 40,000 to the part-time.
Do we wanna look at that to see now? I mean,
Oh, yeah,
add
we'll
it to his
have
budget?
yeah, we have to look at it.
Yeah. You wanna work with them maybe and get that added to your
Yeah.
budget so we can look at it?
And then we'll come back to us. We
We
just
can't,
add.
we can't not have EMTs. paramedics.
Is next year's budget or like working on getting increases for the next?
Well, that's the question is, we have to do a budget amendment, right?
By the looks of some stuff through all of this, I think we're gonna have to do one anyway, just with the amount of, and not all of it has to be like it, but there's lines that are over and this one's not, so I think.
So you wanna look at,
Yeah, I probably should.
would that require a union contract?
No, nothing with the union at all.
Okay.
No,
We can just pass a resolution.
yeah.
Yep, we can pass a resolution, but we'd have to, before we implement it, we'd have to do a budget amendment.
Sure. And I'll
Because part-timers aren't union.
No,
No.
no, they have no benefits, no coverage.
Okay.
Under the-
Thanks, Brady. We've been having Thaddeus wait a long time.
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Brady,
Thank you.
what was the date that you got that notice? Did you say January 1?
January 1, so I received it January 2nd.
You got it second.
Because I wasn't there the first.
Right.
But it come
Of
into
course,
my,
yeah.
it come into my email on the first. No problem.
And your team.
How are you? Hey, Daddy, sorry to make you wait. That's all right. You guys have a good night.
I'm sorry, I was thinking.
I'm sorry, just,
Sorry, Thaddeus, ran a little over.
Sorry. 10 push-ups per minute.
Okay.
You can set up the table if you're wherever you want. Joan, you can,
Joe, you got some.
yeah, Joan, back in that corner by Rick.
No, it is, and the other, like,
She doesn't want to sit by you, Rick.
but I don't know what I
Okay, Daddy.
was there when I was there. It was just the factor.
We're just starting at the top. Do you have it?
That's right.
Right.
Good.
Wages, and are you asking for anything?
Normal, whatever the normal is, I guess.
Well, it was 2.5 is what.
2.5,
Okay.
Okay. Office supplies, you've got 300.
For the commission, we're gonna keep that 3,000.
Same rate of pay, 'cause you increased
Yeah,
that
that's
last
nice.
year, right?
That's the next one.
Oh, the Veterans Affairs Commission,
Yeah,
Oh, you want 3,000, okay.
we're gonna keep that,
so office supplies.
300.
Allocations,
That's from the state, that's made, it's 10,000. Year by year changes, it could change.
grade markers, 2,000.
I actually want to increase that to 3,000 because prices of grade markers have jumped dramatically, and I get the aluminum ones to save county money, but they're still expensive too.
Are you having trouble with that?
Not really, it's mostly just damage, and we're finding a lot more GAR Civil War ones,
Yes, yes, they are.
so.
So the grade markers, you went over your budget a little bit and you're not done with the year. Should we increase this for next year?
I was planning on 3,000,
3,000,
because I already made another order of grade markers.
okay.
Military, underneath that, veterans allocation, you've got, what do you want to do there?
It's just, that's for the 653, that's the allocation. That's the money I spent in the state.
So that's still the 6,345?
No, it should be zero, it should be blank, that's just,
Okay.
that's from the allocation.
It's a wash, right?
Yeah.
You
That's
get 10 in,
Is
You
it a,
spent
is
six.
it pass-through, is it?
yeah, so on his, revenue line, he gets that 10,000, whatever that he doesn't spend, he has to send back, so usually he
Publishing,
gets it all taken care of.
Yeah.
publishing, 300,
Yep,
postage, 100.
yep.
Employee mileage and travel, 2,000.
Yep,
That's, is that to pay your commission, or,
no, that's for travel to school and me going to the Feather Building, because they made us get, cat cards now, clearance. So, I have to go to the Feather Building quite a bit and yell at them.
education and training, 500.
Yep,
Office maintenance repair, 5.
yep,
Now, veterans allocation, that's a pass-through too, right?
now last year I had to send back money,
That's what, you had to say that?
yeah.
Oh, that, okay.
But that's gonna be, that's one of those allocation ones we don't.
Dues and memberships, 200.
Yep,
Fuels, 100.
yep,
Primary treatment.
1,000 is what we have on that.
Is that what you help people if they need you pay, you help pay for it?
Correct.
The soldiers?
Yep. This, now we're in, fuels, underneath that, that's all what we can help the veterans with.
Okay. Oh, under that, okay. 03210, military veterans general services category?
Correct.
Okay.
What about prescriptions and meds, 200?
That'll work.
Home vehicle modification went over slightly already, we need to, is that, do you have anything more coming on that, or?
Right now, I don't, but that could change,
Okay,
but I say we just keep it 1,000.
Really? 1,000?
I mean, that's what I wrote down 1,000, because I mean, if we go over that, I can always amend it if I need to.
Food and provisions, 5.
Yep,
rent is 6,
yep.
utilities payments.
And that one I actually have coming out, I have $879.19 coming out of that 3,000, so,
Okay, but is that gonna be enough for next year?
hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
Should be, I mean, we had a light winter this year, so I mean, honestly, I
Yeah,
was expecting to spend more.
yeah.
So you want to leave it at 3?
I think so.
Okay.
And bus,
That's for Jones Van.
okay.
And you drive them around, don't you, take them? Thanks for doing that, John.
There's 5 of us
That's nice.
that do the driving.
Funeral services, 5. Oh, you haven't used that for a bit. Do you want to leave it at 5?
Yeah.
And the only revenue you have is the veterans allocation of 10,000.
Correct.
Is that gonna stay the same for next year?
As of right now, yes.
Have you been affected by any of the changes going on in DC with your, I'm sorry, have you been affected by any of the changes going on in DC regarding funding and grants and anything like that?
There is a freeze on,
Oh, freeze on hiring,
and which includes volunteers.
so.
Really?
So we can't take, I had a volunteer lined up, the VA can't process him because there's a hold on for 90 days.
Even for volunteers? Wow, okay. Well, other than that, okay, that's good to hear. All right. So yours is probably the easiest budget. Did you
If
have,
anything, if you have a pinch though, and veteran, if you have a problem and you don't have enough and veterans are there, please reach out.
Oh, I will, yeah. But I've been trying to use a lot of other resources too, like the DAV, the hospital and stuff like that too. So, yeah, I've been using the state trust fund too for stuff.
well, thank Thank you very much.
Thanks, Thaddeus.
Awesome.
Do you have any
Thanks, John.
questions? Do you have any questions for us? Good. Quick and painless.
You'll call if you need something.
Yeah, you will.
Thanks, Thaddeus.
Thank you.
All right. Well, is there anything else that anybody needs to discuss, or?
Just a point of clarity, we have the libraries coming, we have auditor tomorrow at 11, and then the library at 11:30.
Correct, so far, it's only been Winterset that's responded back to me regarding that.
We have HR and IT.
I was just trying to figure out what the,
That's right.
Yep,
I'm sorry,
yep,
what?
so she already emailed to check and see if she could, I said no, they got you.
and then we'll be.
She was in the.
And then he
They
was
were
on
to me, but otherwise.
Yeah.
It should be here by me.
Yeah, the library, we only have Winterset come in, it'll be done.
And he'll be good, I reckon, but he can, yeah, so you need to be new, well, then we'll just keep on track.
And so then, these are the ones that need to be gone through yet.
Yeah.
And I think that I got all of them.
Here, I have a ton of notes if you need.
So do we need to schedule more then? while we're on
Yeah, we should probably schedule another meeting, because we still have to do the supervisor one, we need to slip that in somewhere. So how does your guys' schedule this week for another?
Yeah. I think Thursday I could squeak something in.
I don't know if they added it or just,
Maybe they don't, they're still waiting
or
for
just
them
still
to.
trying to figure out when.
It was just,
I wanna come,
Wednesday would get out.
I'm not gonna make the regular meeting, cause I've
Not
got
Thursday at all.
Wednesday,
friends. I was late, my lunch time tomorrow, so I'm gonna just do it on the phone. If I get out my appointment, they're still talking about what's going on.
what is everybody else's schedule like?
I need to
Wednesday,
be on the phone with Sonia.
On
I've already
Wednesday?
pushed her off.
Okay, that's fine.
For Monday and Tuesday and told her I'd be with her on Wednesday.
Okay, okay, so, how about,
How much time are we needing? 'Cause I
let's
could
squeak it
probably
in
do
tomorrow. We stay on
we're not, I
Fridays.
don't think we're gonna be able to squeeze all this in.
Well, the
I
light.
mean, we can try,
Let's
but let's get something on the calendar, so we can always cancel it if we get done. So, you said you can't do Thursday at all on Thursday? I figure this would probably be 2 hours for this.
I could maybe do 4 to 6, but I have a hard stop at 6 then.
What day is that?
That's Thursday,
Let me look at something here.
4 to 6. The other option is Friday. Do Friday, how about you, how's your
I
Friday?
could do as late as possible Friday afternoon. Or if I did, you're thinking it's gonna be 2 hours?
I mean, it may only be an hour, because the cricket court, it is what it is.
Yeah,
we don't
report
have
is what it
them.
is, weed is what it is, chemical dependency
Yeah,
basically is what
weeds
it
is the
is.
same, they're not even gonna show
So
up, 'cause it's the
townships-
same.
Township's kind of what it is, I mean, yes, I think you should go over them, risk management, you're talking whatever they say our increases are,
I've got that.
and you've got that. So we have that,
And
and
then
then,
audit, tax fees, allocations.
I mean, I would think that if we focus, you could do it in 45 minutes.
So you
Oh,
have,
okay, an hour. What
so
do you guys think for about an hour?
can we do it, but you have to post this. Can you do it how about Wednesday in the morning?
We have to be open for absentee voting on Wednesday,
And
so.
she has a date with Sonia all day, right?
Oh, that's what you said.
I mean, but if you guys are only gonna take an hour.
Could we do like Friday at 1 or something?
I like that
Yeah.
idea.
I can do that, would that work?
Then I can just take my lunch for that time period.
Would that work for everybody, Friday at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, I could do that.
And if a voter comes in, you can just call us.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Does that work for you,
that's gonna be a
Diane?
budget work session, right?
Okay, work for you too, Friday at 1 o'clock?
As long as it's not. Yeah, 1 o'clock Friday.
1 o'clock on Friday, okay. Michelle?
Got it.
Take care of that? Okay, well, anybody else have any questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
One second.
All right, all in favor?
Bye.
Aye. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.